everybody, and welcome to the 2025 HCS Arlington Major, hosted by OpTic Gaming.
If they start to split games around the middle of the series, as we said, once we get late into the series, they do start to favor OpTic more and more. OpTic Gaming wants this to be not only a long series #1, but to send us also to a second series.
Also to get the crowd energy high, right? They want the crowd to be behind them, OpTic. For Shopify Rebellion, it's about keeping the OpTic crowd quiet. We're now back into the game. This one looks pretty good to me. Shopify versus OpTic. Let's get it on.
Underway here, and man, like we said, the margin's so slim between these two that it feels like every opening rush, every pair of kills is going to be so important. Frosty's starting to burn a little bit of ammo early on.
So OpTic, the beating of Shopify towards B. Legend is already trying to cap that one, and it will be B and C early on. That's going to be captured by OpTic Gaming. There's Bound. And there goes a body for the first time. Frosty with the no-scope beat down, and expect a lot more of that from this POV.
What a way to start. And for Frosty and so many players this weekend, it feels like as two fall for OpTic Gaming, it feels like there's a new life for a lot of the best players in the game, just redefining themselves and what they are capable of in-game.
However, it's going to be an early triple cap actually coming in for Shopify Rebellion. There was a momentary 3 dead, and we will talk about 3 deads and how devastating they are, because that kind of thing can happen.
Frosty says, you keep the POV right here. I'm the one with the snipe. And he absolutely rips off Bound's face, who thought he was going to get away with a little bit of a C-plat jump.
Big win from Formal though, big confidence booster for the man who put this roster together. Winning those 1v1s, we're going to talk about it a lot throughout this series, because pivotal moments will be decided by pivotal battles. A and B in the control of Shopify Rebellion, but barely a point between the two teams.
Very good damage from that entire life from Formal. That'll pave the way for Renegade to clean up the scraps. They do find themselves with a momentary man advantage. We'll see if they can turn that into control. A starting to flip as well.
Royal 2 with the repulse bot middle means that he gets away from that battle without trading. Formal finds himself sacrificed by those frag grenades. Royal 2 shoots on the floor to get those shields down and take him down as well. OpTic will flip B, but you can see the ends of the map here. A and C control. There's a really smart flank coming in from OpTic. Royal 2 going to fall into Formal once more. He picks up another kill.
3 dead. Cycle was the last player alive, so all the momentary lead there for Shopify will now be switched. OpTic Gaming takes the lead narrowly here, but very well timed 3 kills in succession paves the way for this hold.
One thing I loved about that from OpTic, the timing of it, right? The timing of that push onto A. The cap comes in, yes, but it felt like Shopify felt like they had an extra few seconds that OpTic didn't give them. A little bit caught off guard by the double push from the scoreboard side, and OpTic were able to get the kills, flip A, but again, it's OpTic who have the lead at this point. It's Shopify now try and transfer A back into their hold.
Legend waiting and baiting. He does have that QT back at Crane, so he will be able to disengage if he needs. However, with an AC hold, that QT at Crane's not going to be that much of a help. Kills traded out. 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. Their Shopify responds.
Perfect time to get those kills as well, because it means Frosty can collect that first camo of the game for him. And he should be able to deal with Formal, but Formal, a little bit of pole dancing from him means he caps A, and that forces Frosty back now to rotate to capture as well as look for these slays. He does have a little bit of help alongside him from Cycle, and that's going to be those kills picked up, and A flip back into the possession of Shopify Rebellion. Bound with some shots in the back of camo, but might have given his position away because they're 3 dead now. OpTic, 2 players just come off the respawn.
Yeah, Formal top tower here, and even though Bound is able to eagle eye, he should be able to now grab the camo, and luckily for OpTic Gaming, the camo will dissipate. Look at Frosty very wisely once again, starting to burn a little bit of ammo off the rip. Wants to make sure it does not go into their opponent's hands.
This is very interesting from Frosty. He's not even trying to take angles. He's burning ammo immediately while not being under pressure, and I think he's just saying, we think we could beat OpTic if there's no sniper on this map. We think that is such a massive swing for OpTic Gaming. We can get it done without it. And you can't really argue considering they're going for a triple cap right now.
Yeah, it's just really interesting risk management coming in from Shopify, right? They know that Sure, you can start to burn ammo once you're under pressure, but why not control all of the risk? Why not know exactly how many shots are left and make sure your opponent is not able to use any of it? And just like that, they're up 84 to 44.
OpTic do manage to make a play onto B, though. They will flip that into their control. A couple of kills will go in the way of OpTic. It is aggressive. This push across top middle. Formal will collect what's left of that sniper rifle. 4 bullets to work with. A little bit of pressure coming in on him, and it's going to be Last Shot who gets that kill on Dice and will be able to reset C.
Just like that, he gets picked off, tries to get a little bit of extra damage on Nestbridge here. Things are starting to get a little bit closer, but let's get to an early listen and hear how the comms are on Shopify Rebellion.
Yo, three watching B. Tires backing up. Tires. It's 2B. Yo, one's
Look right.
Yo, he's Quantum hitting big door.
Yeah,
now.
going big there. I'm going cuts.
No, I'm getting shot from small. Yo, Camus one. Screens in an A. Screens in an A.
We got it. All you bet. Solo bet.
Nice one screens.
Yeah. Big door.
Yo, Camo. My man, we're going in. Yo, hey, Tom to beat.
Camo 15.
Yo, Tom mid, one shot, in vent. Two Tom mid, A plot.
Cuts.
Yo, Camo guys.
Tartu.
Yo, big camo.
Yo, dice.
Yo, it's screen scamming, hit him 3 times. One shot.
Cuts down.
Yo, in A, Matt. In A.
For sure.
I'll get A pin to screen. Screens.
Get camo. All you press.
Okay, elbow now. I'm going C. Yo, cuts in small. He's outside small. Nice.
Inside SB.
Tires on me. Yo, can you live by?
Yeah, there's a guy around wide.
In B weak.
Yo,
back B, watch out.
Pushing guys. One got one in. One
Two there.
Watch out, the wing.
Light side wing. One more.
Well, out of the listening, we need to talk about Bound. How did he just stay alive that long and didn't Last Shot regret not going for that kill?
Unbelievable. Last Shot tries to engage Bound, gets him to one shot and cuts, but Bound has a perfect little pre-nade off of C plat to just stay alive long enough. And not just that, they don't even trade out the camo. And as a result, it's OpTic Gaming with a trip cap during that listening, and then they maintain the AB hold. And now, just like that, in what feels like no time at all, they are leading 160 to 84.
And they're looking for the triple cap. It will be Shopify who should be able to flip A, but no, they're flying in. Bound will get the reset on A. It's a triple cap here for OpTic Gaming, and look at where Formal is. He's up on the tower, and we've seen him hit this shot from this angle before.
It's still 3 dead. Cycle needs to make something happen here. He's got a little bit of help from Frosty. That sniper will not play. A few shots left in it. And Cycle makes it happen immediately. 2 shots left and connects with the first shot instantly. A lot of work to be done. All 3 of them flipping simultaneously.
Yeah, 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. That's why they can do exactly that. And a triple.
Simultaneous trip
reversed into a triple. Like you say, everybody from Shopify won their individual fights across the map, and all of them were around strongholds.
What a response from Shopify. That's unbelievable. Let's not forget, moments ago, Cycle was the only player alive in a 1v1 on tower, and they immediately flipped. So down by about 100 points right now, but the game is far from over.
Frosty pushing in to clean up the kill onto Bound, but immediately that's traded out as well. OpTic working on flipping C back into their control. It's 204 points to 112. It's a commanding lead here for OpTic Gaming, but they find themselves 3 dead, and Renegade finds himself as last alive.
Yeah, exactly. Last player alive here. We'll see what he does. He's going to try to hold tower. They do get 1 pick, which is going to even up the tide a little bit, but they're trying to flush out tower, but easier said than done because Renegade is still alive at the tower. And Frosty's your only player alive for Shopify, which paves the way for a Formal camo grab. Game in his hands right here. They're about to trip cap again.
That spawn is not nice for Last Shot. He just got absolutely melted, and it's a triple cap again here for OpTic Gaming. Formal with camo, Frosty in his sights. It's perfect shots from Formal. It's a perfect first game from OpTic Gaming. They will be up by 1 in your grand finals.
And how about that for a start for OpTic Gaming? We said that game number 1 was a swing game. Could go either way. Both teams undefeated. And OpTic Gaming makes quick work of Shopify Rebellion, taking game number 1.
Such an impressive run from them. That triple cap they had around the mid game and then towards the end game as well. That was where things got out of control for Shopify Rebellion. Looking across the statistics there, it's a very quiet game for Frosty. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that decision to waste the sniper ammo and the effect that had on the game. But here are your statistics. On the OpTic side, everybody breaking double digits. And Renegade, the man again, he's led the way for OpTic, and he's leading the way again in the grand final. He is on a streak at the moment, 15-11 for him.
A lot of people have been saying that Renegade looks different than he has in quite some time in terms of the level of consistency and excellence that he's bringing into this tournament. And as you say, he picked up exactly where he left off. We'll take a look at some highlights from that game, but it was an early Shopify lead. When we got into that listen, and let's not forget, they were up not only by, I would say, 20, even 30 plus when we got into that listen. Tied around the 22 mark, they started to run away, but man, it was all OpTic Gaming during that listening and then thereafter as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's this triple cap that came in around, I think Shopify hit around 100 points, and then OpTic got control. There was a 3, a 4 dead, and off the back of that, they were able to continually keep that triple cap locked in, cycling those spawns and managing to keep numbers on the map, whereas Shopify just couldn't spawn. This is the moment here you see 142 points on the board and another 4 dead situation that just occurred, 158 and rising, and you can see that Shopify, when they're spawning, everybody has an LOS. That's how well they were splitting those spawns. You've got multiple members of OpTic looking at you.
And even though we saw some really good pressure there, right, like we said, an immediate response from Shopify to get their own trip cap in the game, OpTic Gaming just not slowing down whatsoever in the late game with really impressive late game composure to come out of that triple cap, making sure that Shopify does not put a rally on the board, and they ended 250 to 112 in game number 1, which sets us up for a rematch on Slayer Origin. As a reminder, it will be the 3rd time these two play this game type on LAN. It was a 50-44 win at the Quezon Showdown. Game 7, by the way, that Shopify exited that tournament on. And then earlier this weekend, a 50-36 Shopify Rebellion win in the winner's bracket quarters. So it goes without saying that they have the statistical edge. The question is, what has OpTic done? We've been talking about their Slayers now for weeks. What have they done in the days since the opening of this tournament to make sure that they come into game 2 just as hot as they came into game number 1?
So much weight on these Slayer game types in the series. There's 3 of them in this best of 7. So if you can find a bit of form when it comes to this game type, you get closer and closer to closing out one of these series. It's going to be Origin, one of the newest maps that's been added for our Halo 5 fans. And it's going to be conversations again about the sniper rifle.
Yeah. There's a few things to watch. Obviously, the sniper rifle and rocket control. You're going to see on the side of OpTic, they want to get it out of the hands of Frosty. Also, watch players having presence around the silvers to cut down angles. We'll see which team can get it ahead early.
So many creative angles can be found here on Origin, and it's about not just recognizing that you can take them, but where you might be shot from as well. And Formal, to start this game, there's creative use of the silvers. That's a double for him. Make it a triple, grab that sniper rifle, and Formal goes to work.
What do we say? Control of those silvers, control of those angles. That way you can easily get in and out of fights. Formal right away puts it to use, 4-0 off the opening.
The very essence of a perfect opening strategy coming in from OpTic Gaming. Now the attention moves towards the Rockets, which are still up, I believe. Cycle has a little peek. Lets Formal know where he is and just waits for the pressure to come in.
Once again, look at exactly. Shopify goes to control the silver first before they push out to snipe. Keep an eye on that part of the map. Finally, they get shut down, and just like that, what was a 4-0 lead is now 5-3.
You can see Formal just not quite sure where he's getting shot from. That's what we talk about. Creative angles. Wow. Bound G sliding at max speed towards Royal 2 and gets the trade in a situation where, honestly, he had absolutely no right to.
Yeah, cuts down that distance so quickly. Now Formal trying to make the push. Not going to be easy, but stays alive even longer, trying to keep teammates alive as well. Getting really scrappy there in the back of the base. 10-7, still a 3-kill lead for OpTic Gaming.
2 dead for OpTic. Numbers on the map here for Shopify, trying to be aggressive. As the trade goes down at the bottom of the snipe tower. Rocket's still up, by the way. Nobody's got their hands on those yet.
Got to be one of the longest times we've seen in competitive play, in official LAN play especially, that the Rockets would still be up, finally grabbed. And they will fall without one being fired. Still a 4-kill lead for OpTic. They've done well to hold this on and hold off Shopify.
And you can see the risk, right? You can see the risk in front of you. Frosty goes, I think I've got a timing window. I'm going to try and force this. Not only does he die, but he falls by middle.
Boy.
Renegade collects them. And that's a double. It's the second triple of the game for OpTic Gaming. And this time it's Renegade who lights it up with 3 stars.
Oh my gosh, the discipline from Renegade. A Renegade of old tries to finish that battle. Cycle somehow comes out of nowhere through the maze and gets the kill, but you could just tell how disciplined Renegade is right now, because I think 99 times out of 100, Renegade from the past few years goes for that over. In the end, he has triggered discipline. to try to let the team finish it. Still a 5-kill lead for OpTic Gaming. They look good here as we get closer to the mid-game.
One of the keys for OpTic and Slayers, we were talking about before this tournament even got underway, was not letting a lead be gathered on you, not letting it go 7 or 8, or having to crawl out of these tight holes that they find themselves in the kind of, it's usually around the 20 to 30 mark, but at the moment they got to that mark with a lead intact, they're starting to win some fights, but as I say that, Frosty wins a fight of his own and takes on Legend 2.
Very good damage there. Legend, though, going to work with Renegade and Trench to make their way across the map. World 2 tries to cut it down, but Renegade with some beautiful shots from the disadvantageous angle to shut that one down as well. They still lead by 5.
Another 1v1 here. Somehow last shot
always
gets a
with
stick.
the stick. His sticks are crazy, man.
That man's got one of the best sticky games in the game. Sniper rifle just dropped, by the way. Have to see where that has gone.
Big moment here.
Doesn't feel like it's in the hands of OpTic, as Formal will take a lot of damage from what you presume was a sniper rifle bullet.
World 2 picks up another one front base, which means Cycle now has the rocks. Doesn't see him yet. 180s there on Renegade.
Gotta check your corners.
Getting a little nervous there, some vertigo as Legend just stays alive on the sneaky with only 2 shots left in the snipe. And you knew he was going to hit that one. His last shot's reloading on his way to the sneaky, which is going to give Legend way too much time to hit that. One more bullet left, and they still lead by quite a margin here. They've extended it to 6.
Everything went very slow motion there for last shot as he jumped up and saw Legend leaping towards him with that sniper in his hands. No more ammo to play with for the Frenchman though, but he's going to take a new angle towards top rockets. And Formal is playing very, very sneaky on the elbow, waiting for damage to come in before he's going to flank in on these Shopify players.
OpTic doing so well to slow down. As you say, also just stay in their pesky corners. 3 dead yet again. Last shot's the last player alive in grass. He will be flushed out immediately. It's a beautiful collapse without forfeiting any trades whatsoever here. They lead by 11.
I love the pace that OpTic are playing at as well. They are not letting Shopify settle on the map whatsoever. 36 to 25 is an 11 kill advantage for them at the moment. And I have to say, the second night, Shopify a little bit surprised at the pace at which OpTic have come out the gates here. They are flying at them.
Yeah, 10 kill lead here. And for a moment, Shopify was able to bring this game back within 3, but OpTic is just playing way too fast. They're just immediately engaging on the spawners, collapsing on the last player alive so consistently, and that's given them this 10-kill lead.
10 kills to go for OpTic to go 2 up in this series. Royal 2 will win his fight against Renegade, but it's 2 dead for Shopify once more, and moment by moment, kill by kill, they seem to be falling into the hands of OpTic Gaming. Formal, by the way, 16 and 8. At this point in the game, that is a monstrous line.
Lots of talk online about Formal Slayer game, and I think he's silencing the critics without a doubt. Like you said, 16 and 8 to be double positive in a grand final like this is going to silence just a little bit of the chatter around this OpTic Gaming squad.
Well, if Shopify want to make a comeback, a lot of it is going to be on the shoulders of Frosty here. Has 2 rockets to work with. It's something for Shopify to get a pick, but that grenade from Bound out of nowhere takes down Royal 2, and now the mistakes are almost 0 for Shopify Rebellion to make the comeback in this game. Frosty finds 1, but Bound gets a trade onto Cycle, and now it's just 5 to go.
Not impossible, but man, would ever require a Herculean effort to bring this game back. Shopify could do it, but against an opponent like OpTic Gaming will not be easy. Blind fires the rocket, which will not connect and gets punished by a beautiful rocket bait from OpTic Gaming. 4 to go.
Royal 2 will find 1, but as you say, it's only 4 to go here. Formal hunting down some damage that's gone in bottom middle. But he finds himself now against last shot, and I tell you what, OpTic are starting to get cycled a little bit here. All of a sudden, this is a 7-kill game with OpTic on the respawn, on the back foot. Bound gets 1 though, which could be massive, just to make them comfortable. Legend flies in, shows no fear, grabs that sniper rifle, and now has the game in his hands.
Yeah, exactly. Two more kills to go here at the 49 mark. 1 more to go for OpTic.
Legend gonna try and line it up. Absolute beaut of a no-scope coming in from Legend. That's how you win games of Halo. And that is OpTic up by 2.
You get the feeling that that shot was more than just a 50th kill.
That gave me chills.
Full-body chills here as well. And how about Legend not even reacting? That might be even more terrifying than the shot itself. You've seen that man pop off many times before. Instead, he just hits that shot like a stone-cold assassin and gets ready to load into game number 3. That was a statement in every way. The entire way the game was played, stealing that game type after losing it twice on land, and then to hit that shot with that confidence on the BR, and to not even say a word, it's terrifying. And OpTic Gaming look terrifying. They lead 2-0.
We got to talk about the pace that OpTic are playing at. It is different to what we've seen so far from them. It's showing a new gear. We'll take a look at the stats before we get into that conversation. On the OpTic side, we mentioned Formal 17 and 10 for Matthew Piper. Big performance in a Slayer. If he does that consistently for OpTic, OpTic are going to have a lot of success.
We already talked about how game 1 was a swing game. As we take a look at some highlights from that, as you said, unbelievably fast-paced right away. Look at Formal, takes to the silver. What does he do? Picks up a double and a triple to open up the game. That set the tone for them. But for any Shopify Rebellion fans in the building, in the chat, you knew game 1 was a swing game, but you probably had your money on game number 2. Now as we look at the series layout, Shopify needs to start putting wins on the board. Otherwise, we're going to get deeper into the series where OpTic Gaming is just going to gain more and more momentum. Another triple from Renegade on your screen there.
Yeah, I think the big momentum swing in that game was, like you say, the first few seconds. 4-0 off the opening break, and on Origin, that means Sniper Rifle goes to you. That means the rockets you have access to. Eventually. It did take quite a while to get there, but it gives you the chance to build the lead. And that was what OpTic has struggled with before. They always felt like they were chasing their tails a little bit, but now they're establishing some of these opening strategies. They're getting the better of Shopify, and from there, they can piece by piece build it up. That is absolutely disgusting. Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember SLG at Wembley? Did something very, very similar in Halo 5, that kind of shot. I think Strongside was casting that. Very similar kind of moment for another Frenchman, but that one from Legend, it's just, like you say, it was a punctuation mark on what was a fantastic Slayer performance.
It really was, and I feel like if you're on the Shopify side, that game almost ends differently when you watch that either from a third person or on a death cam, when you see, or even, heaven forbid, from your own first person. That is just, like you said, it's a statement, and OpTic Gaming is coming into this. Let's not forget that not only had they lost this game type exclusively to Shopify, take a look at this one more time, which I think is only right, and look at this, World 2 on the beat, doesn't
Get out of here.
Unbelievable. Just pops up, doesn't waste any time, and hits a fantastic shot to close out the game. But let's not forget, not only had they lost that game type exclusively to Shopify, they were 2-3 in that game type this weekend. That was not a winning game type for them, and if they're digging that deep, they're kind of suggesting, hey, whatever stats you might have in the back, we're not really interested in those. We're here to play 2 series of Halo and take a championship.
Now we get to see a game type which is going to really test both teams here, and it's certainly going to test Shopify Rebellion being down 2 in the series. We are heading into an oddball game on Recharge. There's a head-to-head of 2 of the players. You can see the statistic for yourself who have been the standouts when it comes to this game type for their respective teams. But I mean, for OpTic, they took a moment, stepped away from the stage there, maybe trying not to get caught up in the moment. Know that there's a long, long road ahead. They have done a great job to get 2 up, but 2 up means nothing. We've seen that on either side of the stage when these 2 teams play each other. They've got a long, long way to go.
They do indeed. We've seen many times before, like you said, we've seen reverse sweeps, we've seen big swings in series. There's a lot more to play, but Shopify certainly must be thinking, okay, we need to lock in right here because OpTic is bringing a different tier of gameplay, and I think it goes without saying that OpTic has looked not only the best that they have this weekend, but I would say in terms of all online qualifiers, the case on Showdown, and this entire tournament so far, they are playing at a pace that we maybe haven't seen them reach just yet.
For Shopify, the memories of beating OpTic a little bit earlier on maybe starting to fade. They realize they're in a series now as we head into game number 3. Oddball Recharge, first to 2 rounds. Will be the team who takes this game away, and if it's OpTic, they'll find themselves 1 game away from resetting the bracket here and sending us to a second best of 7.
Both teams with great records in this game type as well. It is identified, as we said earlier, as another swing game in the series, which really could go either way, and what a different series layout, as you allude to, we would have, depending on how this game goes. This one could tell us whether we're going to see a pretty quick first series or whether we might go the distance. Shopify needs to dig deep. They need to find something special now to get back into the series.
That's been what OpTic have been doing all weekend, digging deep, finding something special, finding a way to keep themselves alive. Well, now, boy, are they alive, and certainly this series is alive as well. This grand finals is alive. Legend, the man who no-scoped Shopify Rebellion into a 0-2 series, will be the first POV that we check out. Last shot inside of the tower now. Camo is going to be still available down bottom middle, as he's now turning his attention to keep his teammate alive.
Very conservative start from both sides here. Two do fall for Shopify, which means OpTic is probably going to try to go on this pressure, but once again, the kills are traded out perfectly 2-2, and there's no ball grab yet. Finally, it's a late camo grab, 36 seconds in. Very, very late, and that indicates to you just how conservative the opening was from both sides.
The timing on that grenade, by the way, from last shot was just superb. Made it look so easy. That internal timing we talk about was some of the best in the world. Oh! Speaking of which, peekaboo! Formal's got the camo. It's going to be 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion. OpTic grabbed that Oddball immediately.
We talked about how the teams have so much respect for one another. That's why you see a kind of dual conservative opening from both sides. But as soon as they get the camo, they pounce perfectly. Formal with a great route, great timing on the back wax. That's going to be early time for OpTic Gaming.
Royal 2 manages to get through though. That grenade almost took down Frosty, by the way. The Formal threw up towards the ceiling cycle in the 1v1 versus Legend. It's going to be Renegade who joins that fight in and manages to clean him up. Oddball is down, but OpTic have that lead. And that means, like we said before, in these game types with an objective in mind, if you can take a lead, you control the game. You don't have to focus on that objective half as much as your opponents.
So much damage from Legend over the past 30 seconds. Just poking and peeking, and Frosty with a very well-placed green gun. Gonna make him retreat for just a second. And what a 1v1 between those two. In the end, last shot comes to help as well. And now, 3 dead for, ooh, OpTic Gaming! The reset. The reset is very unfortunate. That would have been an easy pull back to gold. Instead, the ball will go bottom middle. Now camo popping as well.
Camo's coming up. Look at the sports as well. They're over at back blue. That reset is an absolute lifesaver for OpTic Gaming. If they spawn over at pipes, they're Shopify Rebellion. They can get that ball back into pipes. They've got time for the ball, but instead, they're forced to fight for the camo. OpTic don't have to worry about that Oddball getting away for them as Renegade adds another triple kill to the collection. That's 2 in 2 games for him.
Born to rack up time, forced to fight for camo. Unfortunate there for him. OpTic Gaming will continue scoring based off of all the chaos. They'll bring the ball bottom elevator.
Ball is down though, so Shopify don't let OpTic get it comfortably. And now you can see from the spread on the map and the way that Formal's playing, that Shopify have a setup in and around the elevator. Formal just waiting for damage. And now that the damage has come in, you would expect to see the likes of Bound, Legend flying in front of Formal. To clean up these kills. Royal 2 picks up 1, but it's 3 dead. There's the break, there's the damage from Formal. It's played off of perfectly by OpTic Gaming. They break the setup from Shopify, and now they have that ball back in their hands.
Let's see what Renegade can do as well. They're going to be looking for opening damage. As you said, it was the easy 3 dead. Now we get to hear how they're going to hold here. Let's get to a listening with OpTic Gaming.
Hey, bottom here, I think I saw bottom here.
Enemy has the ball.
In here.
That's the right. Below jump, camera jump.
Cameras. I got one. Yeah, no, turn running it. Respawn C plat. Hey, blow yourself. 100 steps. That's out long.
Watch it, fellas.
Camo's coming in 10, guys. Camo in 10.
Needles.
Yeah, shot.
Oh, yo, Bound has shot. Straight bang. Just try to get it. The bottom. On it. Watch top tower. Two guys top tower. Two top tower. Ready, I have your chase one. Frosty. Ready. C plat right now. Yes, C plat.
Yo, top tower, front tower, shot.
Bottom rear weak.
One to see. That was 3. Yo, back to me. Nice, guys. Turn. Spawning A probably, yep.
He's pipe.
Walking A. Ready, they're gonna
Top tower, you got past you, man. He's C-plat.
Yeah, bomb turn run.
C-plat. He's taking the time. Yo, trippy.
Yeah, tribute. Two shots. Gold steps. We're here. We can go.
Bottom rear.
I have nice pipes.
He's pipes now. Pipes going back to turbine. He's pipes now. He's pushing pipes. Good. Yes, combo.
One turn. Front tower cycle weak.
Yeah, I'm gonna separate. Go right.
Check corners.
One shot, gold stairs, guys.
What's the gold combo?
One shot, go back up. Up gold stairs 1, John. Up gold stairs 1 right now. Gold stairs 1. He has combo, Johnny's combo.
Let's get pipes, probably. Probably 100%. Spawning weird.
Spawning C. Turn weak.
Look at the temp. Don't touch the first level.
Nice, 3 dead.
Bottom rear,
There's 50 seconds.
Look at the temp, guys. We don't have the first level.
One shot, roll 2.
Very weak.
Yo, single sack just sitting behind it. If anyone's made that,
Stack.
Well, enjoy this life from Renegade. Enjoy this round from OpTic. 38 seconds left in the round before they can close it out. And Shopify can't get near the Oddball until now. They're starting to get desperate. But we need to talk about two lives in particular. Last one from Renegade, and then Bounds previously with that camo. So much damage, and the shots as crispy as you like.
Unbelievable damage, unbelievable movement. We'll have a little bit of time to talk about that shortly because as you heard Lunchbox say in the comms, only 20 seconds left. Amazing game management from OpTic Gaming. They're going to continue slaying here.
Last shot trying to fight, keep them off of Frosty here. That ball is down on the trippy corner, so difficult to access, and it's even more difficult with OpTic picking up kills on both Cycle and Royal 2. And now they get an LOS on that ball. Now they get a camo in the hands of Renegade as well, and it will be the first round of Oddball here. On recharge, going to OpTic. Boy, they look up for this one.
And I think we could say they picked up exactly where they left off. Feels like they came straight from Origin, and they landed right here on recharge, playing the exact same way. That was once again a suffocating round, and it feels like that has really summed up how OpTic Gaming has played each of the games in this series so far. Such a clean round one win. We'll see if they can do it again.
Frosty wins his fight bomb middle. The camo is in his hands as well, and it's going to be 3 dead here for OpTic. Now Shopify need to get themselves together here. Need to dust themselves down because they've been battered, excuse me, by OpTic Gaming in the first 2 games and the first round here at Oddball. They need to find something, but no! When things just aren't going your way, you get a green gun in the backside from Renegade.
I think we're all thinking the same thing. Of course, with the benefit of observer view, there was a player coming gold stairs, and Frosty gets back-whacked here with camo and shock. And what could have been a pretty solid hole gets blown wide open. Formal does not get the trade against World 2, somehow stands strong top A and will continue holding the ball. So a rotate opportunity coming in here towards teammates.
And just about make the cross. OpTic will have to wait. And it's going to be a lead here for Shopify Rebellion. Legend flies in. Play ball is going to happen. As the fight goes down at the back of the spirals, Last Shot versus Renegade, and Last Shot will start winning some fights. But as we always say, if you can get that play ball over by Blue and you take a couple of kills down, the likelihood is you're going to spawn across the map of pipes, and you can grab that Oddball, and that's exactly what OpTic tried to do there.
Important first kill. Also, Frosty gets the second kill, so this should be a clean break overall. They've made their way very difficultly across the entire map, but based on the spawns, it may be for nothing here. We'll see if Bound can spawn his teammates and hold down pipes.
Bound 13, make it 14 and 12 as he goes on a killing spree. And OpTic have that ball back at pipes, and OpTic looking like they're going to be able to turn this early advantage that Shopify had over. Last Shot, last alive, he's just fallen as well. And even though the Oddball is going to drop off, everybody from Shopify Rebellion is just coming off of the respawn screen. So Bound's going to move this one away from that LOS. He's going to get it back towards his respawning teammates, and OpTic will go into a lead.
Very nice rotate. Notice how he doesn't go gold. He immediately goes long haul to cut down the angles. Much less sight lines that he's vulnerable to, and he comes away with it. What a beautiful set of plays from him. It also paves the way for Renegade to grab camo as well. Renegade is 23 and 10.
Just let that sink in for a second. 23 and 10. And we're in the second round of Oddball here with only 40 points on the board for OpTic. You get the feeling that another one hits. Perfect shots for Renegade. A killing spree for him. One for Bound, one for Renegade. Last Shot trying to fly into the pipes, but the Oddball still being held by OpTic. 50 points on the board for them now.
I mean, look at the total slay numbers. It's suffocating is the only way to describe it. Amazing slay control and overall map control coming out of OpTic Gaming yet again. They find themselves 2 dead, but it's immediately tied up by a key kill from Renegade. He's now going to watch C-Plat.
Cycle's going to be flanking towards that Oddball, so I wonder if it's going to be a game of get the slays before we get that Oddball, but I think Shopify just starting to recognize that they need to get some time on the board here. And Cycle going to wrap this one away before playing it down bottom middle. Now flies in, Cycle deals with him. Renegade now trying to clean up the damage, but recognizes there's multiple members and has to just escape and play his life.
Let's not forget, this one's far from over, even though we've seen dominating play from OpTic Gaming so far. It's still just 55-25, a 30-point round. And anything can happen from here, but Shopify's going to need to find the ingredients that they need. Cycle, last player alive, he will be ready to play the ball momentarily.
One player that needs some more from is Frosty. We talked about him being an X factor. A lot of talk about him being the best in the game right now. He's 8 and 18 in this game number 3, and he's been relatively quiet throughout this series so far. So Frosty obviously has a lot more to give here for Shopify Rebellion, but it needs to be found sooner rather than later.
Yeah, there's still time for him to turn this game around, for the entire team to turn this game around, but I agree, a pretty rare stat line from him, especially with low OBJ on the board as well. You have the feeling that if he starts to turn things on, this game can get a lot closer.
OpTic still with this lead, 56-33. Formal knows that Cycle's close, but also wants to try and help out with some angles that he can hit with his shock rifle. Plenty of ammo to work with as well as he hits the reload. And OpTic just waiting for Shopify to make their move, and with the shock in their hand, they can do this, Andy. They can wait, and then they can hit strike.
Notice just baiting the ball there as well, not even trying to hold, or we're going to see if they can get the kills. Then they'll start to hold on a solid 3-4 deads. Ball will reset, no time there, but still a 20-point lead. Just over that for OpTic Gaming, 2 dead for them.
2 minutes on the game clock here. Shopify will grab that ball as OpTic will still have 2 dead. Cycle can be pushed here. Has to avoid that sticky grenade, manages to do so.
Ball dropped.
A lot of pressure on him with this shock rifle to hold down this pipes, look and keep his ball carrier alive. Formal's going to poke.
Oh boy.
Cycle's going to tease. Now he's going to slide out and look for more. Bound is pushing. Bound should be traded out in this situation. Cycle's done his job perfectly there.
2v2 for a second here, and where these next few kills fall will really determine if we're going to see Shopify get back into this. Good gold pressure though. It's going to give them an opportunity to try to get a grab, but with the ball still down batteries, Renegade's exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah, frustrating moments here. Shopify Rebellion, they're winning some fights. But Renegade's starting to win his even more. 29-15 is 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. The Oddball's still down on the batteries as the reset comes in, but OpTic don't have to worry about that. They have the lead. They could just pin Shopify back.
Even with 3 dead there, that ball sitting batteries meant that Shopify could not get time on the board. They're also still 2 dead. Risky push! A risky push solo there. Last shot tries to make something happen, but it's going to continue to stagger their spawns even further. 63-36 with 108 left on the game clock.
How many perfects have we seen from the POVs of OpTic players in this game? You've seen them from Bound, you've seen them from Renegade, you've seen them from Legend, and of course you've seen them from Formal. Win your ones. That was the name of the game when Formal put this roster together, and that's exactly what they're doing.
1 minute remaining.
And it's Shopify who are reeling. Less than a minute left in this game. Camo burnt bottom middle, and Bound last alive.
Yeah, Renegade might have burned the camo, and also way past the 30 mark now. 30 bomb has been cleared, 31-17 with 47 seconds left on the clock.
Enemy.
Shopify needs to get that ball. Let's get it in their hands. Still time for them to play with here. Frosty picks up 2. Frosty trying to push on that long haul as well to keep OpTic trapped. So we're going to move this one back to the elevator. Renegade might have a little timing window here to fly towards him. But he gets taken down importantly here for Shopify Rebellion. And hold your horses. Last player alive is going to be taken down. It's everybody falling into the death screen here for OpTic, and there's life from Shopify.
It's a good trade from Legend, but is it enough? Bound's your first spawner, probably flying at this point. We'll see exactly where he is. Here comes the 4-man OpTic push. If Shopify can hold, they can force a round 3.
Well, Formal will get the first pick. Formal might get the second pick as well. Frosty is out of the game right now. Nowhere near his Oddball carrier. Last shot's trying to get in a position to play ball and does so. But there's only 12 points between the two teams, but 22 seconds is the problem, and Royal 2 being last alive is a bigger problem for Shopify Rebellion. It's a few moments left, and OpTic will be up by 3.
Good covering fire there from Formal to deny the Royal 2 exit from top 8. Here comes the Shopify push. It needs to happen. 10 seconds left in the round.
Has to happen now. Renegade though, Renegade, this is his game. He finds a kill that shuts it down. Cycle last alive. He can't get his hands on that ball, and OpTic are up by 3.
Renegade goes 34-18 in another decisive OpTic Gaming win. And if you've just joined us for the first time this weekend, you might be thinking, how on earth did OpTic Gaming lose that first series? How on earth did they have to fight through the elimination bracket all the way here with what they've brought on Championship Sunday? But guess what? The championship whites are on, and it is very clear it's a different OpTic Gaming that has arrived here in the OpTic Arena. The final score, 132-67 across the 2 rounds, and Shopify is shocked.
Shopify are shocked, Shopify are shook as we head towards CTF Fortress. Now we do mention that these series tend to go the distance, but it's a long way to go for Shopify Rebellion to do that. And we are looking, if this continues this pattern, like a bracket reset is going to come in almost what feels like record time for OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, man, taking a look at some of the highlights from that, it was once again a masterclass from OpTic Gaming. I think we saw some solid exchanges of play from the side of Shopify, but they have largely been silenced this entire series. And it's a completely different matchup between these two than we've seen all season in the preseason as well as Arlington so far. And we talked a lot, by the way, this from Renegade. It was just punishing everything we saw from his POV. He gets a double here as well. Everything we're seeing from OpTic Gaming looks to be flawless. They are not making any mistakes. That's why you're seeing the score lines that you're seeing. Make no mistake, these are blowout games. And Shopify, we talked all about how these teams are exchanging games back and forth so close. Guess what? OpTic Gaming's writing a different story here. This is not close.
Yeah, 250 to 112 first game, 50 to 41 second game, 2-0, and it felt like a big 2-0 in that Oddball game. OpTic are dominating this series, and the way that they are shooting is so standout to me. And you're seeing some of those fights with bandits in hand. It's 5-shot max. That's how it feels at the moment. It's maximum damage output. And when Renegade is running around and everything seems to be kind of falling into the way that he wants the game to go, single kills turn into doubles for him. Then he gets involved in the next fight. Renegade playing like this means OpTic are playing like OpTic need to.
What I think is so tough as well, every time we're on Bound and Legends POV specifically, notice the G slides that they're hitting, and the second they are in mid-slide, they're hitting not just the first shot, but all 5 shots to get it perfect while they're moving exactly where they need to be on the map. And man, is that ever impossible to play against if you're on the side of Shopify, even with the talent that they have. As we talked about on the desk, CTF Fortress, an opportunity for Shopify to get back in the series, not just because their backs are against the wall, but specifically, you heard Clutch talking about it. Fortress, one of Shopify's best maps. They've been putting up numbers on this game type, and OpTic comes in with a losing record on this game type. Shopify needs to take a breath, find a way back into this series. If they want to win the finals here, they will now need to reverse sweep the first grand final with 4 straight wins in a row.
OpTic 1 game away from resetting the bracket in our grand final, sending us to a second best of 7. Capture the flag on Fortress is where we find ourselves, and we are going to see some headshots. 2 sniper rifles on the map, and of course that overshield down bottom middle as well. And this is almost the perfect playground.
Yeah, this is it.
To see if OpTic can close out now, or is there going to be something in this for Shopify? Are they going to find their stride here? We have to. It would be rude not to. It would be disrespectful not to start off watching Renegade.
This is going to be an absolute blender here with 2 snipers in play with a map this size. 2 flags on the board. It could be a quick one, or we could see quite a lot of gameplay here. Kills exchanged each side, 3v3 on the map, but Renegade doing some early damage here. 2 dead for Shopify.
Well, 2 somehow staying alive in that situation. However, to keep that sniper rifle in his hands. And somehow peeks back out and hits the shot. It's 2v2 on the map at the moment, but look how far up the map Bound finds himself right now. The confidence we are seeing from Bound. We know he loves a challenge. We know he likes to take the fight, but he's hitting the shots as well. And Legend now says, remember me from Origin? I can do it on any map.
Bound and Legend are hitting a certain amount of damage efficiency that is scary to watch. And I think anyone that's played or watched enough Halo Infinite knows exactly what we're talking about when we say that. Just not wasting any time, any frames, as they move across the map and deal damage all at the same time. 2 dead, however, for OpTic Gaming at the moment.
Let's get taken down, though. There's going to be a snipe picked up, and there was OpTic members falling all around. So pressure on their base is going to be coming in. You see Frosty flying in. He gets the trade. It's 3 dead here for OpTic Gaming. Bound is last player alive. He's down bottom middle. Somehow managed to get the kill. An important one as well. Room 2 cannot find him. Wow. Look at this from Bound. Look at the damage he's taken. Oh.
Bound, kind of reminiscent there of what we saw a lot last season from the entire SSG roster. When there's a 1 player alive, guess what? There's a whole lot still to deal with, and Bound not only gets... I can't even finish the sentence before I talk about his 3rd kill. Gets a kill bottom middle, deals the damage, then picks up a 3rd kill. That's what I'm talking about. Just because Bound is the last player alive does not mean your problems are solved. In fact, actually, you have a whole other slew of problems, and Bound reminding us of that.
From being last alive here, Bound finds 1 kill, stays alive, does damage, comes back out, no-scopes another player, and then, all of a sudden, Shopify Rebellion are 3 dead. Overshield now, coming up bottom middle. Shopify Rebellion in a good spot, but it's going to be stolen away. Legend,
no!
Is he going to pop it?
Almost. That would have been...
Almost, but not quite. But last shot does pop it. And Shopify is starting to move that flag as well.
Talk about almost being robbed blind. Highway robbery. It was 3 dead for OpTic Gaming, and now you're overshielded. Last shot's going to get this across the sideline. Still with a lot of overshield to play with. Nice little slides all the way back. 4 players alive, but he should have the timing here, especially with the overshield. Goes wide, actually. Flag's gonna be away, so he has to wait.
Love that timing window recognition there from Larshot. Knew that even though there was a couple of players coming off respawn, that he had the shields to deal with the bullets that would be coming his way. But like you say,
Look at Legend.
flags are away. Take shot trying to hunt him down. It will be a trade inside of the base from Frosty. First time we've seen a flag standoff in quite some time.
Yeah. And this is a high-stakes flag standoff because you already get the feeling that if OpTic Gaming wins this flag standoff with the way that they tend to play objective game types, they will play the most obnoxious, annoying, control-based rest of the match. 3 dead here for Shopify. Cycle, last player alive.
Where's that flag? Cycle is near that flag. He's trying to get
boy.
some spawns, but is there anyone close enough to help Cycle with the situation? Bound flies in. Bound with another killing spree. He's going to go for that return. Formal with the sniper cross map, and OpTic should be able to send this one home, but can they cap?
Should be able to. Flags right there on the stand. Gonna delay for just a second. Formal once he gets the shields, you know he's not gonna waste time. Roll 2 though in a 1v1.
Formal bodies him. Formal now under pressure. 2 dead on either side is Larshot, who stands on that flag, trying to force this return. OpTic can't cap quite yet.
Last shot forced to the bottom of the base. There's going to be a touch here from Renegade. He gets the cap indeed. Last shot could not fight off the players that are dropping on him. And OpTic Gaming, they stay cool. They stay collected. They get the flag in. They now lead 1-0 in what could be the series winning. Renegade not done yet.
Renegade is on another planet today. Last shot last alive once again here for Shopify Rebellion, and Formal will not need to be asked twice to start moving that flag.
How about Bound, a casual triple positive right now at 12-4. Just another day's work for Bound. 3 dead, World 2, your only player alive. Formal's gonna hit the side to bottom mid.
Here comes the second one. Formal's moving. Formal schmoving. And that flag is back inside of his base. It's gonna be 2-0 as Formal gives us an exhibition of how to run a flag here on Fortress.
OpTic Gaming saving the best for Championship Sunday. 2-0 here. Quick work, 1 flag away from 4-0ing. Shopify Rebellion in the first grand final.
Another kill goes the way of OpTic Gaming. Cycle does manage to trade out, but it's a numbers advantage momentarily for OpTic as they get equaled out by the end of the sentence 2v2. Shopify need a snipe. They need an overshield. They need something to go their way here.
Once again, Bound and Legend are not even, it feels like in every battle, they're not even getting down a shot, let alone losing battles. So difficult to challenge them with the way that they're playing. And I think the numbers tell the story here. 12 kills for Bound, 10 for Legend.
Now maybe thought he could get the better of Frosty there with a cheeky little re-peek, but the grenade from Frosty was good. And OpTic again earned the right to play slower inside of their base. The repulse comes in from Royal 2, but the damage still superior on the side of Formal. Cycle's going to push him. Royal 2 finds 1 under the base, and all of a sudden OpTic just under a little bit of pressure here. They're 2 dead. That's 3 dead, and is this the little window of opportunity for Shopify Rebellion to get something going? The flag is away.
Frosty's on top in with some initial good shots as well, and they get the help. And I was just about to say before that flag was pulled, this one's not over just yet. With 6 minutes left, Shopify Rebellion on the board, only down trailing by 1 flag.
On the board and controlling ring. Now Overshield's about to come up as well. Legend tries to fly to cause some problems. Cycle on the jungle gym manages to find himself an opportunity to get that flag back, but the Overshield did go to Frosty. It's 2 dead here for OpTic. There's a sniper in his hands, and Royal 2 is running that flag as well.
Numbers still on their side here. They get another kill, and they might even get the kill A1. If they do, this flag will be guaranteed home free. It's still 2 dead. Big shot, though. Coming in from Legend.
Legend gets 2. Legend might get 3. The triple kill from Legend. The Frenchman is going nuts.
What did we say? You cannot leave a single player from Shopify. You cannot forget about a single player on OpTic Gaming. And Legend goes huge, a triple kill to stop the flag run.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous from Sabri. No right to get 1 of those kills, let alone all 3. It's going to be 3 dead. And Frosty probably a little bit shell-shocked.
Unbelievable stop there. Still a lot of time on the clock, but plays like that are really going to be morale hits there, as Shopify thought they were home free, and Legend picks up a triple kill, and it's still 3 dead. Cycle, last player alive bottom base.
And he's no shields as well. He gets cleaned up. 2 snipers in the hands of OpTic Gaming. They get the return, but now the worry for Shopify is with that chance falling slipped through their fingers. What can they do against this onslaught from OpTic?
Every time it feels like Shopify can take an inch, it feels like a player on OpTic steps up and hits an unbelievable shot, if not three. Formal gonna hold here. Gonna hold down this elbow angle.
I mean, Shopify can't get out of their base at the moment. Cycle gonna challenge as a body into trade as Renegade will clean up the damage. Shopify 2 dead once again. Now Royal 2 has overextended here. But it looks like OpTic know where he is. Renegade's gonna try and hunt him down. OpTic do get that toss of the flag out of the base, but the position of Royal 2 is making OpTic think twice about this.
You can tell once again, everything's gonna slow down. So much on this flag and so much on this overshield. Renegade should be able to get it for free, and he does. Kills traded out initially.
Frosty does some really good damage to that overshield. Now he's been a nuisance. But Renegade will hunt him down and use that advantage in the shields to win that battle. It's 3 dead for OpTic, and I tell you what, Shopify have got that flag out once again. Now, is there anyone in position to do something
big
similar to what we saw Legend do a few moments ago? I'm not so sure this time, but look, the overextension's coming. Formal somehow got this flag running for OpTic.
It was 4 dead. Somehow Formal pulls that flag all the way to Arches. I cannot believe it. We'll see what Bound can do to stay alive in Cave.
And all of a sudden, both flags 50% of the way across the map. Frosty will be able to get this return by the looks of things, even though Formal will get that kill, and all of a sudden they get the return, they win the standoff, and we have a game on our hands here. It's 2-2 with just over 3 minutes left.
My God, high stakes, sudden death, of course, and a lot riding on this flag. More than just the game, the entire series riding on this flag. Shopify has rallied back after trailing 2-0 and found a way to tie the game. 3 minutes left here in regulation.
Formal with a sniper in his hands. Last shot, almost with a bullet in his visor. Just managed to step away and slide to his left to keep himself alive. 2 dead here for OpTic. It's Shopify who are starting to win some battles now, Andy.
Let's see what Formal can do. He knows he has you can tell by the way he's angling and isolating these sight lines. He knows he needs to get the right damage, ideally a pick, to help his spawning teammates make sure they can push out.
Scary moments for OpTic. You can tell they're just a little bit worried about the pressure that's starting to be applied by Shopify. In the back of the base, you have to hit shots. If you lose these fights in the back of the base, that flag is away.
Big.
Legend finds one off the body. Shot coming in from Formal. Shopify is starting to swarm though. Overshield coming up in a few moments time. Formal, the patience starting to pay off though. There's one player flanking through the snipe side. I'm not sure if he knows. Cycle's going to challenge. Frosty's got a sniper rifle elsewhere. Formal just trying to desperately to stay alive. Royal 2 finds another. Cycle going to challenge. It's 3 dead for OpTic. It's 3 dead again.
Most importantly, there should be an overshield in the hands of Shopify on this push as well.
Royal 2's got it.
This is big here. They got 2 dead again. Royal 2 still has some overshield to play with. They're going to start running this flag, and they have the damage they need. Oh!
Frosty! Frosty gets 2, and now he runs at the remaining members of Shopify Rebellion. That flag is not running though.
The run is so staggered. The run is so staggered despite the fact they got the kills. Finally, they're running in here. They have some angles here. Formal's going to overextend.
Bounce the player though. Bounce the player to watch. He's overextended here. He comes back through the arches and manages to slow this run down. It's 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion. Legend, maybe not just thinking about getting some kills and stopping the flag, maybe thinking counter cap.
Oh, the flag is still out though. Let's see if that flag returns. Oh. Top mid.
Royal 2. Royal 2!
Royal 2 gets the touch!
Royal 2 gets the touch at the last possible second. And Legend finds himself having to go hero mode again.
2 dead though. Flag standoff here. Flag is now down ring 1. And you have the Shopify flag down here on the porch.
I mentioned the overextension from Bound. Well, that stopped the initial run. That was why it was so staggered. And now we're seeing the counter pull coming in from Bound. 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion. Bound gets another one. It's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. Frosty's trying to fight forward.
Flag is returned. Frosty's gonna get taken down. Flag is back here. They should have the home stretch.
Bound is gonna run this one the safe way. He runs out into the base with Royal 2 now. Puts pressure on, but it's Formal. Who else but Formal? Who grabs that flag? Who runs it home? OpTic have reset the bracket here. We go again. Here in Arlington, 4-0. They sweep aside Shopify.
Just when you felt like Shopify was gonna put together a last-ditch effort and maybe take a game, OpTic Gaming shuts it down. Absolute carnage in those last few Slayer exchanges for all those flags. We saw multiple flag standoffs. But once again, it's OpTic Gaming that see through the smoke. Identify what they need to do, get an unbelievable return. By the way, Royal 2 running flag with overshield with 3 dead, and somehow OpTic Gaming off the respawn find a way to prevent that flag from being ran. It sat right next to the repulse there, next to ring 1, for far too long. It felt like Shopify had everything they needed, the timing, the overshield, and the run. Instead, it's OpTic Gaming that gets much more than just the game-winning flag. They get the first grand final. It's a 4-0 win. It's almost an immeasurable amount of momentum. And they reset the bracket here for a second best of 7.
I think if you were to ask, and I'm including the OpTic fans respectfully in this conversation and in this question, what do you expect to see in this grand final? What do you think the score is going to be? I don't think many of them would have said 4-0.
Right. Even the boldest of OpTic fans.
Exactly.
I don't even think OpTic would have said 4-0.
That's what we see in front of us, though. And it's a 4-0. Those first 3 games aren't close at the top level. They are dominant performances. Then we see the steel that has been on display all weekend long from OpTic Gaming in that game 4 to close it out.
Also, how about Legend?
That triple?
Legend, last player alive, and he gets a triple kill to stop the flag run.
Immeasurable impact on that game.
Unreal. We'll take a look at the stats in just a second. I think Bound led the team in the kills category. Just top to bottom, amazing from OpTic Gaming. And that game itself had everything to be a 2-0 game as we take a look at some of the highlights that would then go 2-2. I'm excited to watch these because, man, that felt like an absolute saga of gameplay. And Legend and Bound, they were heating up early. It felt like it was going to be a very quick game. Instead, Shopify let this one go, to a fantastic rally, but wow. Just what a game 4, and I'm blown away by what we saw from both sides.
I mean, even this return here, look, Legend plays that corner, gets the kill, keeps Bound alive. Like, all of these little moments start to stack up. And there was something kind of, it almost felt like the script writers were out. It was Formal who runs that final flag in, right? Just marches towards that capture point to get that final one on the board. OpTic up by 2. You have to give Shopify a lot of credit for the way they fought back in that game. A lot of teams would have just capitulated and thought, you know what, let's think about next series. That series is gone.
Here it is, Legend. Look, stops the flag run, hits the brainer, no scope for the double, and this, not easy. Has to hit the perfect triple to stop that run, and does exactly that.
It's generational talent. That's all you can say about Legend. Those kind of plays are almost instinctive, right? It's just individual brilliance that leads to OpTic staying alive in the game. It could have been very, very different at that point. Formal starts getting involved as well. He's like, that looks fun. I'm going to have a few quick scopes go my way. But when it's all said and done here, bro.
Look at this one. Excuse me, Formal gets brained as well. There's 2 players to A1. How does this flag not go back? How does OpTic stop this? On paper, that flag is gone. And somehow they find a way. And that's what OpTic has brought to Championship Sunday. And as you said, poetic that it's Formal, who assembled this roster for one reason. You got to be careful whether you have a camera or not. That OpTic pit, the green wall's getting dangerous. And they are hyped. And for good reason. The series layout tells the story. It is a clean 4-0 from OpTic Gaming to send us to a second best of 7.
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable from OpTic Gaming. It's something that nobody really saw coming. But Shopify Rebellion, they've got to take a deep breath, the deepest of breaths. They did win, of course, that winner's bracket matchup, which means they have a chance to still be crowned champions. Now, obviously, after the K-Sun invitation, there was a lot of conversation about winner's bracket advantages and the format there. Well, OpTic Gaming will be happy, of course, just to be still in this final with an opportunity now with one more best of 7 to turn things around, to call themselves champ. This is the triple kill, though. It is just, I mean, firstly, great work from the production team in the back to show us that in slow motion, to show the level of ability, skill, and presence on the map that Legend had in that moment.
How about only Cycle going positive and barely positive by 3 kills? Everyone else being shut down on the side of Shopify.
Look at Frosty stats. Says everything you need to, right? It's Frosty has not had a presence, not had an impact on this series as yet. Certainly didn't have it on that one, but this is a new one coming up, and he will want more than anyone to turn those stats around.
And I know the desk is going to be ready to break it down. I know we were saying we shouldn't look at the second best of 7 just yet. Turns out it was a good idea.
You're welcome to.
And I tell you what, we're going to have a lot of time to talk about it later. I'm sure the desk is also going to talk about it, but OpTic fans are going to be very happy about the layout here in terms of where we've seen game type records, when we've already seen these teams play these 2 game types. Game type records here in Arlington. And I think that's going to give our friends on the desk quite a lot to talk about. Lottie, take it away and get us ready for the second set.
Thank you so much, Bravo and Onset. You're right, we have an awful lot to discuss here on the desk. Wow. I mean, there was only one story in that series, and it was OpTic Gaming all over every single page, the blurb, everything. The chapters were just the unfolding of OpTic Gaming and the unraveling of Shopify Rebellion. Wes, I mean, it didn't look too promising until that final map that we just saw in the series. We saw a little bit more life out of Shopify Rebellion, but it was all OpTic Gaming. You mentioned how on fire they were and that you can kind of see another series coming our way. And that was for one reason, momentum. They had so much momentum heading into that. And my goodness, they did not slow down whatsoever. What did you make of OpTic's gameplay there?
Yeah, this is what I was worried about. This is an on-fire OpTic team coming from the elimination bracket all the way back from round one. We keep saying it, but this is a product and a result of everything that they've gone through this weekend. Shopify were not able to catch their ground. I thought it was going to be Origin Slayer, but the second they fell behind early in Origin, they kept trying to play catch up, and OpTic kept their foot on the gas pedal the entire time. Once that game went out of their direction, and this went 2-0 to OpTic, I knew the series was over. It was a matter of what time. How fast are they going to end it? Fortress CTF, a map that we know Shopify is the best in the world at. They still lose that. It was scrappy, and there were so many plays made to really determine the very end of that game and go into OpTic's favor. But you got to worry for Shopify. The hotter this OpTic team is continuing to get, the harder it's going to be to stop it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I said along with you, like this journey so far to get into the grand finals has been absolutely amazing for OpTic. They look better and better, but here in the grand finals, they hit a flow state. They hit a level that's been even beyond what we've seen so far in this tournament and so far what we've seen in this year. The way OpTic are playing right now, they may be your champions here in the first major of 2025. That was scary.
No, incredibly scary. I don't know how you stop that. And I think maybe the only way you do stop that and kind of interrupt that flow state to cancel it out is by having a game type in the next series that is going to cause them a lot of chaos, something that they don't love. And let's take a look at that second series layout, because that map number 1, that is going to be Shopify's way back into this thing. This is going to be a piv of a map for Shopify Rebellion. Wes, we did see a little bit more from them in that final map, again on Fortress. CTF, they were able to kind of mix things up a little bit for OpTic Gaming, although OpTic didn't slow down, to say the least. Even though they were starting to see a bit more life out of their opponent, they weren't fazed by it whatsoever. This Assault Fortress is going to be huge for Shopify. What do you need to see from them?
It's everything, and I need to see more from Frosty. Let's call him out. Those stats are not Frosty. Like, we've been saying that Frosty's the best player in the game, has been throughout the offseason. Well, Renegade says otherwise. That series, this tournament has been Renegades up until this point. Frosty has got to get involved, and it's got to start changing the impact of some of these games. It's brutal, man, and we've all had series like that. Even the greats, even the Frosties of the world have series that they want back. Fortunately for him, he's put himself and his team in a position where they get a second chance at this tournament, a second best of 7 to right some of the wrongs that just occurred. And I can't think of a better game type map mode combination for Frosty to get back in this series, to make his name a pivotal name in this moment than Fortress Bomb. So I'm excited to get this one kicked off. I'd love to be able to start it with Frosty if we're able to. And I need to see him immediately jump on the gun, because OpTic is not waiting for you to make a play. They are making plays everywhere as individuals. You saw Formal hitting shots, Legend with the most disgusting triple kill of the tournament, Renegade, like I said, it's been his tournament, and even Bound. I mean, Bound is on a mission as well. So everybody on Shopify has got to start really stepping it up as an individual and creating equal amount of plays that we're seeing from OpTic, or this is going to be another quick series.
100%. I mean, if you look at how to take down Shopify Rebellion, you take down one of their star players, a player that we have been talking about constantly throughout the entire weekend, which was Frosty. I mean, Tony, do you think that's a targeted hit? Was that something that they needed to do in order to make this a not close series, to just get the job done in this first one and reset the bracket?
I mean, with the way they were able to lock him down, it very much could have been. They could have been calling him out by name and trying to find out where he is, make sure he's the first one to go down so that they can ultimately activate through that. The good thing for Frosty is, outside of that one series, he's had an MVP-like tournament so far. So I could imagine we could see a huge bounce back. And then from there, what do Shopify Rebellion look like? That could be exactly what they need to turn this train around. A huge pop-off from Frosty.
I do think there's a lot of promise in how that CTF kind of ended. If it had gone 3-0 in OpTic's favor, like it looked like it was going to when OpTic got an early 2-0 lead throughout that last game, and it had just ended there, it would be a pretty sour taste in my mouth to be going back to war here in the second best of 7. But the scrappiness of Shopify, the plays started to happen. Last shot started to make some noise. You started to see them match the pace of OpTic Gaming throughout that game. That's why they were able to tie it up 2-2. And it was pure chaos in order to try and get that last cap in. OpTic got it done, obviously, but I think Shopify feel a little bit more comfortable than they did throughout the rest of that series completely in those last moments of that CTF game that give you a lot of hope if you're a Shopify fan to say this series is not going to be a sweep. It's going to go potentially the entire distance, so let's buckle in.
On the other side of things, you look at OpTic Gaming and how they played throughout that entire series, and we're talking about pop-off players across the board. What Formal and Legend were able to do, not only in the KD department, but also in the objective department. What Bound did consistently in the damage, and we've been talking about all tournament long. Renegade has been the main slayer. When he's popping off, this team is winning. This whole roster really was playing at their absolute best.
You couldn't have asked for a better start in this Slayer, by the way. Formal just doing everything he needed to do to just get the leg up here over Shopify Rebellion and getting that power weapon out of their hands almost immediately, alleviating so much pressure on this map, which we know Shopify absolutely love. They are so good at Collie. But OpTic Gaming, it was like they just had their number every single time. And it's the first time, I will say this, I've ever seen Shopify look lost on the map.
Formal having that game 2 is incredible, strictly because the game 5 on the same map mode combination earlier on Saturday between these two, Formal had an abysmal statistical game. So for him to really step up in game 2 and continue the momentum for OpTic Gaming, I think was everything for this team to put like their feet in this grand finals and really start to run away with it. I think as soon as that Origin Slayer was where Shopify was going to turn it around, Formal said absolutely not. And now OpTic reset ground foot, first to 4 games, we will claim a championship here. And for someone like Formal to be the one that steps up, I mean, we haven't mentioned it really all this weekend, at least I hadn't heard it, that anybody remember what Formal placed last year at any of the events? Second, and a couple more seconds, I believe. He's got to be tired of it. Someone that's used to winning championships, one of the most prolific FPS players of all time, to have that many seconds, the fact that it didn't break him, the fact that he is still out for blood, still wants more. This grand finals cannot be a second for Formal. He stepped up, but it's not done yet. OpTic Gaming have to assure that they get this championship to rewrite what's already happened in this OpTic Gaming franchise over the past year. It was a year of hell from a second place finish perspective, and that can't happen again. They have to win this series.
I think looking right now at the stats based on the upcoming map set, you're looking at a 7-3 overall for Shopify, a 9-7 overall for OpTic. You look at that and you just think to yourself, okay, this is a really great comeback opportunity for Shopify Rebellion. But I really do feel like this is a different OpTic Gaming that we're seeing based on those statistics. I really think that OpTic have just stepped up to the plate and have probably learned from every single game, every single series they had to go through the elimination bracket. Just to remind you, from round 1, by the way, that's an awful lot of Halo they have had to play this weekend. They probably learned a thing or two about how to step up to the plate when it matters most with your tournament on the line. It is huge. This map is going to mean so much. If OpTic take this first one, Tony, I don't know even what to say. for the rest of it, because I think we could also be seeing a clean sweep across the board. This map 1 is everything. It's the biggest piv I think we're going to see in this grand final.
Yeah, man, I feel like we say it often how important these map 1s are, but think about it like this. Both of these teams are undefeated in Bomb here in Arlington right now. It has been known that this is a specialty of Shopify Rebellions on this very map. If OpTic come out fresh off of 4-0ing them in the first series and come out and take map number 1 in Shopify Rebellion's house in Assault Fortress, I don't know what to say. They're winning. If they win map 1, they're winning.
I keep saying it. How do you stop the momentum that OpTic has built? And Shopify doesn't have an answer. Nobody in the elimination bracket has had an answer. I don't know if there is an answer. This team is too hot right now. They are playing the best Halo. It is up to Shopify to come up with something the rest of the bracket could not in order to win this grand finals.
I have an answer. You got to rip faces off OpTic Gaming. And there's only one way that you can do that, is stepping up to the table and having a very steady reticle. It's going to be very difficult because OpTic are going to make your life incredibly hard. But if there is a team that I know who can take faces, it's Shopify Rebellion. They have shown us every single series this weekend how good they truly are. They have put together a highlight reel. Not only have they won series, but the way they have won series, it's just like stunning. Everything that they have managed to do is beautiful. I need to see more teamwork coming forward. And I know it's easier said than done, but teamwork is going to be what makes this roster shine in this series. And they have the best teamwork here, Wes.
They did, until this OpTic Gaming team caught fire. No longer are you seeing Frosty be able to stay alive, finesse his life, and then impact some other combat loop that's going on across the map. We need to start seeing that again. How do you slow down OpTic? How do you feel a little bit more comfortable in these maps and get away with robbery like you were in the past? I mean, these players are some of the best in the world at it, obviously. Being the #1 seed, coming from winner's bracket, already having taken down OpTic. We got to get back to that form if we're Shopify Rebellion.
I'm kind of happy you asked that question, though, because I feel like it's very easy for me to become a prisoner of the moment. After seeing what OpTic just did, it's like, wow, it's all OpTic, OpTic, OpTic. But you kind of put these in perspective a little bit. You know, what if Shopify Rebellion been up until this grand finals? They have been the hottest team in the league. They have been a tournament favorite. And if there's any team that can come back in the last shot, Frosty, Psycho, Royal 2, it's these boys right here. They're going to have to brush this off, and they have to bring their A game.
Well, I've heard the Green Wolf fans screaming their lungs out in this arena, but two other guys who've also been equally screaming just as loud are our casters on the mics, and rightfully so, because some of the things we're witnessing, lads, are just insanity. The triple kill, just so much dominance across the table here. You two must be lapping it up. Are you having a good time?
Having a great time. How could you not, right? We can't help but scream in these kind of situations. The plays that we've been seeing made in that first series, the fact that we get to see another series between these two is just a special moment in itself.
Yeah, you made a great point as we were just watching the replays there. It feels like every single player at OpTic Gaming was popping off multiple times in those games, and it feels like with the score lines they had, it was almost required, but putting on an absolute show. And I think, as we said at the end of the series, no one, even OpTic Gaming themselves, I would say, would have placed a bet on a 4-0 that was that dominant, and almost punishing that they go right back into Fortress for Shopify, right? It's going to be a little bit of deja vu. Feel like they're maybe still in that same blender, so they're going to have to mentally reset pretty hard.
Maybe a little bit of redemption. Who knows? Well, on set, you cross your fingers. You got your wish. So enjoy, fellas.
Maybe I got more power than I should ever be given.
Yes,
but
sure.
let's find out what's going to happen in this next series. We did mention, of course, that the first game type is going to be Bomb on Fortress, which is a little bit different because we always talked about Shopify Rebellion, how they just seem to be a little bit ahead with the newer game types, but it's different. It feels different. The fact that we've just had Fortress played, and that's the one where OpTic reset the bracket.
Yeah, and it feels like there's two sides of this, right? I think, first of all, as you heard the desk just say, I think rightfully Shopify is going to think, okay, right at the end, we're starting to find our groove. It came late, but we're starting to find our groove and starting to find our form. I think they can bring that momentum into game one. They'll certainly try to do that, but I mean it when I say loading back into Fortress is going to be a little bit of a mental hurdle, just a total brain blender to be like, okay, we're playing the same team on the same map in a oddly, similar game type. And we're going to have to see what we can bring together in this series. You and I did catch Shopify backstage. They seem to be in I would say,
pretty jovial.
Given what we just saw, high spirits. I think they seem focused. They seem serious. Don't get me wrong. We didn't see smiles on their faces, but it does seem like they are ready to lock in. It goes without saying that the team you're looking at here, OpTic Gaming, they are ready to keep going. And Shopify has to find some way to get just a little bit of a foothold of some sort, right? It cannot simply be that they're getting 4 dead and some initial control. We need to see minutes of play here, exchanges of play where they are controlling the game. Even if it doesn't mean that bombs are arming, they need to find some way to just remind themselves what they're capable of and what they've done in the preseason and the weekend so far. But OpTic Gaming have proved themselves not just formidable, but right now looking unstoppable. One more best of 7 to decide who exits the OpTic Major as your first champion of 2025.
Well, I don't know how you feel, buddy, but I feel like I'm ready for another best of 7. You ready to get this going? Arlington, we ready for the second best of 7 here in our grand finals. OpTic have reset the bracket. We are here, one series to decide who is going to be your champion, who is going to get their hands on that trophy, sat in the middle of the stage, and who will call themselves the first major winner of the Halo Championship Series season. Shopify Rebellion, OpTic Gaming, 4-0 in the first series to OpTic Gaming to send us to this second best of 7. We're back on Fortress, but the game type this time around is going to be Assault.
And let's not forget, Formal and OpTic Gaming assembled this roster for one reason. They split up a World Championship winning roster. They caused the craziest roster mania in over 20 years of professional Halo. And Formal on record as saying he would not compete this season unless he had these 3 players next to him. And you're starting to understand why. We got a second best of 7 to decide the tournament.
Well, it's a good start here from Shopify Rebellion. Royal 2 getting very aggressive already inside of the base, and this is where you do not want to find Royal 2. The amount of kills and damage he's managed to rack up from this armory and spiral position. And they're already starting to move that bomb under the base here, Shopify Rebellion. Last shot will find one! 3 dead for OpTic. That bomb is already moving in. And if you peek, Royal 2's going to take your face off. It's a double kill for him, and almost immediately the first arm for Shopify Rebellion. They are back in this series.
What an enormous deal. We were all wondering how are they going to mentally respond to what they just received, what they just saw. A decimating 4-0, but they're right back in it. Already leading. It only took about 40 seconds of play to get the first bomb in on a game type which often ends on time. Still 3 dead for OpTic Gaming.
Be careful they don't go back to back here with these bomb arms. Renegade's going to push Royal 2. Royal 2's going to stick him and stay alive. A killing spree off the rip. He might be able to stay alive a little bit longer, but no, finally they flush him out. And my goodness, that's an electric start from Shopify, and boy did they need it.
They needed it, exactly. That is the start you want to see if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan, because they are showing signs of life. And like we said, early control as well. And what a time. Let's get into a listen in here with Shopify Rebellion.
Guys, get up to that. Fall at the bot. Behind me, White. I'm sorry, yeah, item once. Ring. Holy shit, after their bomb. Nice. 3 plus penny. One's up on the tower. One guy from base. Our tower. Zoe. One get tower. It's Owen right with bomb. They're winning porch point. So yo, porch point after their base. Yeah, almost out of us. One's our flag. Watch up here, guys. Watch up here. And a spiral. One shot. After our base. One shot to spiral. Red bar on our base. White's another one on Preston. Looking for him. He's a flasher. Flasher. I'm here. Both side right now. Both side one enemy. He's chasing. Stop. They're no man. Shut the bomb. Ring on. Yo. Elbow, 3 shot. One shot down elbow. You're good. One spawner now, one spawner down. Might get off bottom. He's spawn fly, going snipe right now. Two snipe. Hey, this is got me. This is spawner. All snipe. Follow me. They're tower. I get back. Tower hit him twice. Tower win. Last two on Matt. That's the snipe. You sure? They have snipe now. And they're flag stairs. They're flag stairs again. 2 stairs. Yo, Jada, we right. To top side. They're porch. They're bond. They're bond. Snipe down our left side. On me. John is snipe. Going back to their bond. Going bottom spiral. Nice, let's go. Bomb is their bomb. He live for. Yo. Matt live. Both shields, he's spiral side. One is spiral. Yo, sniper's down spiral. Yeah, running right. Running right. So wait, we got the top tower. Yo, snipe. Yeah, sniping there. One guy's RBR. One guy's RBR. Two to the base, John. He's on the base, it's challenge you. Is that the base side? Suburban?
Yeah, bombs are
They're just two in their base doing nothing.
One bombs round.
Oh, yo. Can you guys go to run in range?
Yeah, run in range. I can keep you guys.
Watch out. One shot RBR. Watch out.
Yeah, two on it.
Nice. What's down?
I'm helping you. Yo, sniper down 2, man. Yo, Preston, that's your bomb, okay? You can let her eat.
Yo, I'm getting top there. One guy size one there.
Yeah, they're snipe going elbow. Yo, Matt, they love hiding under the base, okay?
Elbow right now, weak.
Reese.
There'll be one S1.
On the base, 100%.
S1. Yeah, under the site.
Watch out.
Another, behind you, hit him once. You got there.
Watch out. One shot.
Or wood.
Our wood now in range. One spawner.
You're going stuck free going the cubby. I'll come. Got him.
Oh my god. Yo, man, watch you. Top tower.
Yo, Matt's still owning their base. Yo, no, they're push. They're both.
Got one.
That's him. Running in here.
Size one.
I think he's still sniping.
Still snipe.
Either side, I got one.
Wing 3 John.
Matt's still on their base.
They're charged. One guy tower, one guy
They're tower. He's going.
They're wing.
Well, Royal 2 is the best armory player in all of Halo Infinite. He just does not die here. He's on another killing spree, and OpTic cannot get him out of this position.
I think the best man comp for something like Matt's still alive, just dominating their base, and he is indeed. He's 13-5, also leading the team in assists, 13-8-5 right now. And it is safe to say it is a different Shopify Rebellion here in the second series.
They've got that bomb under the base as well, so bomb has been progressed into the OpTic Gaming basement, and Royal 2, off the back of these 2 kills that have just come in from his teammates, is going to keep it alive, keep the focus there as the overshield pops in 3 seconds time.
Formal's already there, Bound's already there as well. OpTic with a very good presence around Ring. We'll see who snags this overshield though.
Formal was taken down. Renegade might fall as well. He goes, but Legend gets the important kill and finally cleans out Royal 2, but it's not at the cost of an overshield. Cycle now, finding a sniper rifle of his own. And OpTic Gaming have been peppered so far in this game. They've really spent very little time outside of their own base.
It's really impressive to see the resilience and the bounce back from Shopify here. Not easy to do after we just saw what happened in that first grand final. Cycle stays alive on the elbow as well. Bomb might reset here. World 2 maybe trying to get a touch if he gets a kill. But for now, a little bit of a standoff here. A lot of time has elapsed though. 5:30 left. Cycle still alive. Takes down Formal as well.
Yeah, Formal says I can't really do much about that. Legend finds it even harder. It's a double kill off the spawn. Legend just gets sent immediately back to the black screen, and Bao might be next.
It was 4 dead there, and they even got essentially the follow-up kills. Nice shot still. Cycle still alive on the elbow. Might finally be flushed out. Almost trades yet again, but amazing numbers from him as well. And off of that spree, Cycle stayed alive in the elbow for so long that he's 18-8 in the game.
One thing you got to give OpTic credit for, though, it's still only one bomb that's been armed. It's still within one play on that objective. And for the first time in quite some time, we see Legend and a member of OpTic on the Shopify Rebellion side of the map. Bomb will reset in around 10 seconds time, and with the kills going down in the OpTic base at the moment, it's going to be up to Legend to have to flank and come back to his side to just stop that bomb progressing.
You bring up a great point. I mean, what kind of heartbreak would it be if OpTic starts to put some bombs on the board here and steals this game #1 after what we've seen off the opening 7.5 minutes from Shopify? They look fantastic, but the game is not over yet. Might see a bomb reset here.
I think Frosty wants this touch. Frosty will get that touch on the bomb as well. He's going to keep it going. He's going to keep it in the LOS of not just his team, but also with an opportunity to move it to the bottom of the armory through the basement. And if he can do so, then Shopify Rebellion, having just picked up on Overshield as well, might be able to go up by 2.
Look at the timing there. He does not take any damage from Formal whatsoever. So, oh no! Oh! World 2 with a little bit of Overshield left. Back whacked. That's going to stop that rush. And now they're 2 dead, just like that.
Maybe just a little bit over-aggressive there, not playing off of damage, just trying to take space, knowing they had that Overshield. And OpTic, Deep breath for them this time around. They will be able to survive. That bomb is still under their base though, and the longer it's there, the more they just have to play around it. They can't make progress up the map. They can't even think about getting that bomb towards where they need to in the Shopify half of the map.
Yeah, reset now here. Presumably, no, it's a touch. A player.
Arming.
Bomb's arming. Bomb's arming. A player gets a sneaky touch there. They're already on the armor. Can Frosty finish? Not yet. Who else is there?
A lot of arming has been done. Renegade will get that throw out, but as we know, that fuse is still essentially lit. And if Renegade doesn't pick up the kills onto Royal 2, then OpTic might be in a little bit of trouble, but finally, Renegade will be able to get that one away. It is a scary, scary few moments there for OpTic, but upon reflection, in conclusion, you have to say they've done a pretty good job.
That was wild to watch from the tower POV because we saw the bomb resetting, and Shopify knew it. Frosty flew in to get the last second touch after they had pushed up, and then almost, I mean, a moment away, less than a second away from getting that second sneaky arm, which could have sealed the game. Instead, we will continue. Just under 3 minutes left to play.
And OpTic have that bomb onto the Shopify side of the map. Not by far, but by far enough. Frosty trying to take down Formon will be able to do so. Not sure he had any sniper ammo left to try and hit a no scope, and Frosty does the responsible thing here for Shopify Rebellion and gets that bomb back onto the OpTic side of the map.
Once again, goes all the way to A1 without taking any damage. Really, really nicely done, and now they need to work around each other. But a lot of pressure on Frosty here at the bottom of the armory.
OpTic a little bit trapped under their base though, in and around the spiral, and if they pick up kills here with how far that bomb is up the map, then this is a scary proposition for OpTic Gaming. Frosty will find one. It's 3 dead for OpTic. Last alive is going to be behind Frosty. He gets the beat down, doesn't get the kill, but the info should be enough. The bomb is being armed. Last shot is there to protect. Cycle's got it in his hands, and it will be 2-0 to Shopify Rebellion. The regain is coming in.
Amazing patience, amazing resilience, and continued dominance now from Shopify. And it feels almost unbelievable after what we saw in that first series, but as you say, they have regained not only a foothold in the series, but a firm control of the scoreboard. 2-0 with less than 2 minutes left to play.
And Cycle is making OpTic chase shadows. They cannot find where he went. Such a smart route, and now he's going to come back to backstab. He finds one onto Formal. Legend's going to be in front of him as well. The footsteps will be heard, and the shots are true as well from Cycle. OpTic 3 dead yet again.
Your elbow belongs to Cycle. Sometimes you just got to accept that this man has been here all game, and look at his numbers. He's 26-12 with 10 assists, way past double positive. Unbelievable performance from him. This is the home stretch for them, the last 90 seconds of the game.
Another death hit for Legend, another kill. Make it almost 2 for the man on your screen. Cycle 27-12. Formal not got enough shields to really trouble Cycle in this position, and the form that we're seeing from him, it's a killing spree from Cycle.
Man, this is his jungle gym. All your elbow are belong to us. Cycle cannot be flushed out of elbow. Now 1 minute left here. And this should be once again a victory lap for them.
This series feels very different. This game feels very different, but this is a reminder that Shopify Rebellion, when it comes to Assault, seem to have something a little bit special. It's a game type they would be very happy to see, but they won't be too sad to see Cycle no longer on their elbow. Finally. And maybe when this game is done.
But not before he records 29 kills. He's 29-13, 30 seconds left to play.
Another one here for Frosty, who's starting to come alive a little bit as well. 25-17. Welcome to the grand finals, Bradley Bergstrom. A quiet first series that we saw from him, but certainly announcing himself to the grand finals in this one. Last shot gets yet another camo, and it will be another double kill for him.
Gets taken down. A whole lot of stat padding, if I'm honest, in the last 2 minutes of play, but hey, all that will matter is the scoreboard. 3 seconds left.
Shopify Rebellion. Swept aside in the first series, but they strike first in the second. Fortress Bomb belongs to them. They get their first game on the board in our grand finals, and they are up by 1 in the reset.
And my oh my, did they ever need that? Not just the game on the board, but to break that streak from OpTic Gaming, which was, as we said, one of the fastest bracket resets in competitive Halo history. And the momentum starts to shift, despite being on the same map where they lost a devastating 3-2 flag. They instead turn it around with a 2-0 win. And every player on OpTic, aside, I believe, from Renegade, no, actually every player in the end going negative based on those last few minutes of absolute spawn cycle torture.
Spawn cycle, which is a very good way to put it.
Spawn cycle, that's what they should call him. 30 and 18, he ends the game. We'll take a look at some highlights. And it was Shopify all the way.
I mean, the opening strategy, the first few minutes belonged to this man, though. Royal 2 on the Armory, just spawn killing consecutive OpTic players as they tried to get back onto the map, and that's where the first arm came from. And he was alive for what felt like a lifetime, an eternity, down here on the bottom of the Armory. Just when you thought maybe he's going to take some damage and get taken down, just a little repulse keeps him alive for a little bit longer than OpTic fans would certainly have wanted to see.
You saw last shot there, and the player cam also pop off. And if you're a Shopify fan, that's what you want to see, is them getting loud. We know from experience watching this team play that they're playing their best when their comms are frenetic, when they're all hype, when they're all loud, gassing each other up. And there's no doubt there was a whole lot of that you heard during the listening. And unsurprisingly, based on the numbers, based on the control, Shopify is right back in this grand final and now find themselves only 3 games away from still taking the tournament.
It's just a lot of good for Shopify Rebellion to take away from that game. Not just the win, which is obviously, you know, #1 on the list of things you've got to do, but little things like controlling snipes, hitting good shots, getting overshields. How many times did we see a Shopify Rebellion member with an overshield in their hands? Poor old Legend, by the way. It's like, that one's for the triple kill. I remember that.
We should mention as well that they were able to pair this. They weren't just simply keeping their teammates alive in Spiral and Elbow, which, you know, that has a certain kind of science to it. They were also timing the overshield so well, getting very, very important multi-kills around ring just before the overshield was popping. Excellent snipe control as well. They were really, as you say, doing every single piece correctly.
Another thing I love about the way that Shopify play Assault as well is they're consistently moving that bomb. If they get 2 dead, someone is throwing that bomb forward, making you think about where you have to try and deny one of those players from sneaking up and getting that bomb on. They're so smart at just making sure that kills mean something. Yeah. Whether it's progress, whether it's trapping you on a spawn, Shopify really do have a mastery when it comes to bomb. Now we move our attention away from that, though, and all of the good that Shopify have done onto something a little bit more straightforward. It's going to be first to 50, Slayer on streets. Let's talk about those records.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at specifically as we look at Key Slayer's first here, 17 kills. Slayer stats in the grand final. Formal 14 for Legend, and also quite a KD between those two on that first grand final. I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable to be recording KDs like that in a first grand final, but it feels like storyline-wise and momentum-wise, all of that is put to the side, especially if you're on the side of Shopify Rebellion, because they're locking in now with a series lead.
Well, it looks like game 2 is almost ready to go. OpTic have been testing, they've been bruised, they've been battered throughout this tournament. And it's just going to be another blow that they're going to hope that it's just a glancing one that they can add to the collection. Can OpTic answer back after a strong performance from Shopify Rebellion in that first game? We'll head into the streets.
And what a grand final it's been so far at the first major of the year, whether you're joining us here on Twitch, on YouTube, in the Scump Watch Party, the Maniac Watch Party, LVT, all around. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an unbelievable set of games so far, and there is still more Halo yet to play. We're underway in game number 2.
Cycle was already on your pink streak. He's flying forward, but he can't get the finishing headshot. The final bullet to connect with Bound in that situation. Last shot's going to fly through. It's 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. Formal gets 1, though, and it's going to be 3 apiece.
Momentary 1v1. Formal trying to stay alive at long range. Not going to be easy, though. Cycle wins that 1v1 from benches. Camo still up bottom middle.
Camo just popping right now. Legend trying to get some eyes on it. Renegade will pick up a kill on the pink street, which gives OpTic a little bit of space to play with. I was about to say, where's that Stalker rifle? Well, Frosty's got it in his hands, and he is a threat. He is a danger! Oh. That's last shot the Legend just did that too.
You get the feeling that every single 1v1, especially at this stage, and especially in a pivotal game 2 Slayer, is going to be so important. That 1v1 secures the camo from Renegade. And as we said, a player with an unbelievable legacy who needs no introduction, but already defining a new era for himself this weekend in terms of consistency. What can he do with this camo?
We've seen some misplays with camo so far in this tournament where one player's gone a little bit early. Not enough damage being done, but that mistake is not being made. A one-shot cleanup. Elsewhere on the pink street, OpTic are cleaning house, and it's going to be Formal trying to find the last player alive. He sticks him into PD in more than one way. A plasma grenade sends him to J when it's going to be 12-8. Renegade barely had to do anything.
Textbook from OpTic Gaming. As we said, that single 1v1 at Cafe with the sidekick, pivotal in terms of securing the camo, securing the next few kills, and they slowly pick apart Shopify to now have a 4-kill lead.
Renegade finds another one, 4 and 2, double positive off the rip here for The man on your screen, Frosty's going to slow it down for just a second, though. It's 2v2 as we turn attention back to bottom middle. And that camo is back up again. Feels like it was only up a few seconds ago.
First pick there comes in from Legend. Once again, he's in the same spot. A little bit of deja vu, no problem for him. This camo is going to be big as well. It's still a 5-kill lead as Bound picks up another one.
Pretty sure the Renegade just picked up the camo as well. Indeed, he does get away with it. No shields, but still with his life in his own hands. Frosty going to peek on the stairs here in front of him. Moves towards the B rail. A little bit of damage done to Renegade here, but again, he's trying to wait. He's trying to play off of damage. He's trying to see if he can be maximum effectiveness when it comes to using this power-up, but it looks like elsewhere Shopify Rebellion are winning those flights, and now they get flooded. It's 3 kills, the difference between the two teams.
See what Roll 2 can do. That's a big flush on that last camo, and it felt like they could really run away with that, but instead the camo doesn't get involved as early as it needed to. Still a decent lead here for OpTic, but you got to think it could have been much more if they put that camo play together a little bit more evenly.
First few moments and minutes of this game seem to have just flown by. 21-17 the score, 9 minutes left on the game clock. Shot finds one onto Renegade, a couple of players stacked up on the arcade side, so Formal says, you know what, I don't fancy that quite now. Legend will move in to clean up one of those.
Kills traded out initially. Let's see what Formal was able to do here. He does have help to see with that red gun. Kills traded out in the back of C, and now it's just only
last shot.
A 2-kill lead for OpTic Gaming. Let's get into a listen in here as they try to extend their lead further.
I'm hitting him. Have a weak guys up here. Two PD, back. Top it, watch out, dead in, run out, dead in. What's top in, never died. He fell. Dead. 3 shot, dead. Top in, got a melee, just one shot back here. Yo, I'm coming B. Watch out, red. Wake up on mid now. So back A, Renegade, care. Watch out, dead. Purple. Shotty weak. Shotty the boys.
Yo, no, shotty weak. Item 3 times going each.
3 shot each. Catch me personally.
Nice, get up.
Watch out, I'll be front T. He's going cable. Beasters cable, guys. Beasters cable there. He's cable Beasters. How do you hear Potter? How do you hear Potter? How do you posters get able?
2 minutes, I'm hitting B.
I do we drive it maybe? We're gonna get Mando now.
And I've been killing me. Trash item, push out to drop it.
Killed me mid. One got
coming up.
I'll stop PD, press, I'm trying to help you.
Go around the map.
So as you would expect, Shopify sounding hype, sounding energized, but it's OpTic Gaming who have this lead, who are looking strong in this position. Big fights going down around the camo. It kept getting traded back and forth, and it ended up being burnt.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming controlling during all of that listening, and just as we said, it was just a 23-21 game, and OpTic has done so well to make sure Shopify does not get back in this. It's 3 dead, Cycle last player alive here in PD.
8 kills the difference, 12 kills to go for OpTic Gaming. Cycle. Repulse sticky, not quite good enough here for Renegade, but it's good enough to keep himself alive, and here comes the reinforcements
How do you fight
sprinting
against
towards PD.
How do you fight against that? We saw Formal do it earlier too. If you have a repulse sticky, you fly in, you have the option of dealing some damage, just getting out, and guess what? Your 3 teammates are going to fly in for you. Now an 8-kill lead for OpTic Gaming. They're right back in this.
Renegade just consistently changing his last known location. Every time he's seen him fight, backs down, runs away, takes a different angle. It's so difficult to track on the map. 8 kills still the difference.
Taking the Jason Bourne approach. Pretty hard to nail this guy down, 41-32, and he's right back in this series as well. He's 13-6 in this game.
Oh.
You get the feeling he's on that same form he was in that first grand final. Perhaps one more camo to play with 8 kills to go for OpTic Gaming.
Takes the one we got for last shot. That's a big win. That's a trade that does come in. And Legend off the back of it will be able to secure another camo. OpTic have controlled almost every single camo, and that is why this score is looking like it does.
Legend going to take his time. Absolutely no rush for him. You got to call out the Royal 2's weak, and you have a feeling that's going to get flushed out in the L. It does indeed, and they will slowly, once again, pick apart these last few kills. Only 5 kills to go for OpTic.
Now Legend has a little bit of freedom. Gets spotted out by last shot, but it doesn't matter. The help comes in. Cycle does get the back smack, but it's a kill that brings OpTic closer and closer to tying this series up in our reset. Renegade will find the 49th. It's 1 to go here for OpTic. Formal moving towards the pink streak. picks up that threat seeker, gets some damage in. He takes the one. Frosty will win it, but surely Legend will move in to clean up this damage. The nade goes down, the headshot comes in, and OpTic tie this one back up. They answer back.
And now this is more what we're used to here, the back and forth gameplay between these two, where you have one team putting on a dominating performance, answered back immediately by OpTic Gaming. They tie the series 1-1. We should mention they had also won that game type on LAN at the Kason Showdown. They do it again, but not just that. It was a narrow three-kill win the last time they played this. This time it was 50-39. A dominating win, and you have to think for the green wall as well as the OpTic Gaming players themselves, that is a big win to now just be tied 1-1 again as we'll go into game 3 all knotted up.
And it's Renegade who leads the way again in those statistics. 16-7 for Renegade in that Slayer. A huge performance from him. A Legend again in Slayers just goes so kind of, it's always underrated, it feels like, his consistency when it comes to Slayers. 12-8 for him, and a lot of the time, like we mentioned, he's not the one who's picking up a sniper rifle off the rip. He's the one who's doing it most of the time with the Bandit and some stickies, just getting the job done. So Legend, again, a great performance in the Slayers. Mr. Consistency when it comes to being positive in those game types.
So impressed with the timing and the pacing of the kills out of OpTic Gaming. As we said multiple times, we saw them just trapping that one single player in PD, for example, and then being able to easily flush that player out. And then keep in mind that those kills were often so late that they had the next spawn rotation very easily, because they're killing the fourth player sometimes 5, 6, 7 seconds after the rest of the team. So their next collapse, they'll have a man advantage again. And they were doing so well, just kind of maintaining their own shields, maintaining the timing of their pushes and their collapses, and it led to a really consistent lead for the entire game.
And it led to consistent, like I mentioned, pickups of the camo. Every time we're seeing it on our screens in these replays, it's an OpTic Gaming member who has that power up and is able to make a play off the back of it. And it's not just making a play with camo. You have to give up so much ground if you don't have it, trying to spot it out. You can't look at too many lanes. You have to play close to each other and try and get a trade. And if you're in a position where a team is pushing with a stalker and some grenades, you're so tightly knit that one grenade can do so much damage that opens up the map completely.
Right. Keep in mind, if you were joining us earlier today, around 3 p.m. Central Time, we were in the Elim final, thinking this could be a pretty quick day, maybe one of the earliest Championship Sunday finishes we've seen in quite some time. And Shopify and OpTic, for very good reason, and we're grateful for it, had different plans for us. We're in our second best of 7. If you're just joining us, OpTic Gaming 4-0ing Shopify in your first grand final to send us to a second and tournament deciding best of 7. We wouldn't have it any other way. We're tied up 1-1 going into Stronghold's Recharge.
Now, good news for OpTic fans. Not only are we going back to Strongholds, which looked pretty good for them on live fire, where they dominated Shopify Rebellion a little bit earlier on in the first series. At the Kason event that we had just before this one, 250-39 on Stronghold's Recharge in the favor of OpTic Gaming once again. So that is a very good sign for them.
I mean, anyone who watched the Kason Showdown will remember that was a shocking turn of events. After Shopify was looking so good out of nowhere, OpTic comes with essentially, you know, really a scoreline that shouldn't be happening at this level. 250-39 in Stronghold's Recharge the last time these two met on LAN in this game type. They'll be looking to repeat that. Let's take a look at some bracket kill death leaders here from the event.
He is miles ahead. 1.52 Renegade. Okay. I think you didn't really need to look at those leaderboards to know who was going to be up there, but a 1.52 when the next closest is your teammate Legend on a 1.19, that is how good Renegade is playing.
Exactly. If you haven't seen this whole weekend and you're wondering, okay, really, these guys keep talking about Renegade, it's a new era, yada, yada, how good is he performing? How well is he doing this weekend? That should sum it up. To be honest, at this level, you shouldn't have players that are a 1.5 plus KD. But that's exactly what Renegade's doing. He's brought a new level of intensity to Championship Sunday, and it is shown.
And remember, this is just the bracket. This isn't including pool play. Right. So this is against the best teams. This is the teams who have fought out of pool play, who are going into that bracket play. And they've had to play a hell of a lot of series as well. This is the crazy thing. It's been that consistent across those games and series.
And look how close it is thereafter, right? As you said, Legend at a 1.19. Everyone else is within 700s, right? Yes, hundreds of one another, and then you have Renegade, the outlier. And like we said, we've known what Renegade is capable of through all of Halo 5, through all of Halo Infinite. but it feels like not only is he performing in these games, but I think the best way to say it is that he's brought a new level of consistency to every game, and the 1.52 KD explains that perfectly.
Yeah, just an incredible performance, but he's got to hope that it's a performance which pushes OpTic over the line, because it's one of those tournaments where you look back upon it and it's like, if I'm dropping a 1.52, my job is to kill things.
Yeah.
And we're not picking up a championship. It's a frustrating end to it for him. I'm sure he'd trade it in for a 0.97
and a win.
If they win it. He would not care one single bit. But it does show how important his contributions have been to the success, I think, the resilience of OpTic Gaming. Some of the series where they were struggling a little bit earlier, Renegade dragged them through those.
He really did. There were times where they needed someone to go off, and he's putting in, once again, not just double-digit numbers, but double positive numbers often. That's the only way you get to a 1.52, is half the time you're going double positive, if not more. He's going to look to do it again here. Once again, Stronghold's Recharge will be your game number 3 and your go-ahead game in the series.
And OpTic Gaming are certainly heavy favorites if history tells us anything when it comes to this game type, and even this game type and map combination. Like we mentioned, last time these two teams met up on this game type, 250-39. On LAN, OpTic Gaming took it home.
And as you see, they have played Strongholds here at Arlington. Different map, but OpTic did take that game as well, indicating that they are able to play at the pace that they need to. We're underway in game number 3.
Map number 3 of our best of 7, tied up at 1-1, just how you would want it. Eyes on camo, no surprise, but look at this start. Look how quickly Shopify Rebellion are across the map. They double push tower, they take 3 members down. That camo's there, and they're going to get C immediately.
Renegade was last player alive. Renegade
Dead.
also tries to go to B, which is going to cost them. He doesn't challenge at all, does not get the kill on camo. Now Frosty here with camo shock. Big opportunity for him to start to pull away. They lose AC though, immediately.
OpTic split across the map. They do lose AC, like you're saying, but they've got an element of control and a pinch going on here. Frosty has to take down Bound though. Bound's trying to play this one nice and easy. He doesn't have any shields. This is the shot. Well, 2 says, I got you, buddy. You get warm.
They're still 2 dead. Renegade trying to peek that ledge. BC will be flipped, but OpTic doing very well from a disadvantageous position once again to now start flipping B as well.
Look how hard it is to hit Legend. Just G-sliding off of every single surface that's available. Frosty finally will cut him down as he decides to just take a more traditional route and just sprint in front of him. Just says thank you very much.
1v1 I will not tire of watching. Look at Bound wasting no time. Immediately gets the melee before Frosty can get the shot off there in long haul. It was 2 dead for both sides, and a small lead here for Shopify only because OpTic has done so well to fight back. And Bound now 3 dead, and they're going to hold BC. And the game is still just within a few points.
One reflection of what we just seen in the first minute or so of this game. OpTic got to be pretty happy. No camo, no shock, 4 dead off the rip, and now they're going into a lead. Shopify Rebellion were not able to cement any element of complete control on the map. OpTic kept it scrappy, kept it messy, as Bound flies in for a trade. Trades when you're scoring, never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. It covers a lot of ground in order to get that trade. Also blocks a few spawns in doing so. Legend deals some damage, but has no interest in pursuing further. Instead, will just take the grapple, which is dangerous to think about. They're going to start to flip A.
Looking for a triple cap here. 1 dead on either side at the moment. Legend going to fly out towards that camo, or is he going to say, you can fly towards me? Uses the grapple to grab it, to sneak it away without exposing himself and having to fight. Doesn't get traded out either.
Would have been a big trade. Unfortunately, grapples and gets stuck, but it is a triple cap for OpTic Gaming. C will start to flip, but look at the score. It was just 18-7, and off of all that control, OpTic Gaming now up 81-18.
However, 4 dead. OpTic Gaming will fall, and now you're seeing the triple cap be reversed. B gets converted, A gets converted. Look at the spawns, look at the info. Royal 2 watches 2 OpTic players spawn in front of him. Has to back up and stay alive, but complete control of the map here for Shopify Rebellion.
So well, manages his shields there. Able to stay alive and now able to fight at B yet again. And Shopify now with their own trip cap, and they're right back in this one. They bring the game within 30.
OpTic looking on moving A back into their position, and B though. Formal does get cleared out by Cycle with that grenade, and the reset will come in. Legend now showing a flank, but he gets taken down as well. 3 dead. Bound last alive for OpTic Gaming, and he's not locked for this world. He'll fall as well. Shopify Rebellion starting to chain together together. 2, 3, 4 deads, and it means complete control once more. The triple cap is owned by them.
Also found with a staggered kill with the man advantage continuing, so still 2 dead for OpTic Gaming. They've gotten 3 kills, has Shopify, since that last kill, and more damage at long haul. The triple cap continues, and they will go into the lead. Perfect timing on the spawn cycling.
And not even that, they step inside of OpTic Gaming. They have to try and force A to stop the bleeding. It gives an indication of where they're spawning again. So those 2 players have been cut down. OpTic have not had 4 on the map for the last almost minute of this game. The triple cap continues as Frosty starts to warm up with that shock.
Beautiful shot there to get that kill before getting taken down. Finally, C will flip for OpTic, but not before a huge rally. Once again, it was 81-18, and Shopify goes on a 100-point stretch to take the lead narrowly. Camel not burned bottom middle. Frosty on the move.
Frosty will be able to get it as well, because Legend is last alive for OpTic Gaming, and he's not in a position to commit to try and turn that one into their favor. Frosty going to be approached by other players. Whoopsie!
Beautifully done there. That's a little bit of mind games on. Oh, not finished though. We'll see if they can finish here on B. Should be able to numbers-wise. It looks like a player going to fly on a whirlpool. It actually is reset in the end, but still scoring at AC. Beautiful mind game there with the camo. Whenever you have a player dropping gold, they're going to traditionally be checking back left bat. He knew that. He goes instead to front left bat and gets a clean back whack.
The OpTic fans trying to get behind their boys right now, getting a little bit of momentum back on their side, and with 2 kills falling
Enemy team
in their favor, it seems to be working. The 2 turns into 4. Shopify Rebellion 4 dead now, and can OpTic start to assert some dominance that we saw from Shopify in the last 60 seconds or so?
And as we said, this is the back and forth gameplay, that we're looking for and expecting between these 2 teams. And wow, OpTic with very nice bit of control here off of that 4 dead. They might even pick up a few more kills. 3 dead yet again off the back of it. They will continue scoring at AB and continue to chip away at the Shopify lead. It was a 4 dead in the end.
Playing for the 2 cap as well, not overextending too much at this point here, OpTic Gaming. So score is going up. They are getting closer to what Shopify Rebellion have already managed to log on that score. But they don't want to risk that triple cap because they know it's a resource-heavy play. And if it doesn't go well, we've seen the control that Shopify Rebellion can get. OpTic will go into a lead off the back of the double kill from Bound.
How about the baiting and switching? A will flip. We'll see what they try to do here on C. Big decision to make for OpTic Gaming if they continue to pressure A or not.
Yeah, it looks like they don't have the numbers to really pinch this. Frosty's trying to get across to help Cycle out, who's managed to just about escape.
They're going to do it. They're going to
Legend now is going to push in, and Legend does get that kill. Cycle, no shields, bottom tower, no nades to flush him out, but it will be OpTic who flip A.
Wow, how about Bound and Legend there working together? They knew they had the right damage at the right angles. Legend was essentially pushing into a 1v2 for a moment. But instead it's Cycle who actually goes tower, allowing A to continue to be open. Double. Formal almost getting the triple there. 1 player left in the pin. That should be an easy cleanup. It is. That's 3 dead. And just like that, OpTic Gaming will go into the lead here and look for the triple cap.
Yeah, Bounds inside of C. They want this triple cap, and Renegade has a shot. And there's not many better players in the world to watch here on Recharge with this shock rifle, especially when he's in this kind of form. 10 and 11 at the moment in this game. But that can change and look a lot more positive, like the 1.5 that he's had throughout this bracket play.
And this lead continues with the AC hold. Shopify needs to find a way to get the break. They do. They get the first 2 kills. Oh boy, but Renegade enters back. Momentary 2v2, 2v1 on the map.
And that stops the push against the stick as well. It's 3 dead again, but it was 4 dead on the side of OpTic Gaming. Last alive on your screen is going to be Frosty, who will be able to flip A. But look at the flood. OpTic get on the map first off that respawn. They are flying towards the pipes, but there's Cycle. He cuts them down.
A double. Beautifully done there.
And now Frosty's got 2 OpTic players inside of the tower to deal with.
The reason Frosty kept engaging there on that angle was to get a very deep spawn in red pipes. They got a great spawn that they're able to take advantage of at gold. However, OpTic answers back. They get 2 dead as well.
Royal 2 just made a play and a half. He not only gets that kill, avoids the bolt from the green gun, but gets the kill and manages to convert C. Now he's just trying to back up. He knows that OpTic still have members around. Bounds in front of him. He'll take him down, and now Shopify turn their attention to flipping A. The scores are getting closer and closer, but here's Formal.
Wow.
The trade comes in. 3 dead for OpTic.
Somehow Royal hits that. Royal 2 hits that insta. Legend was your last player alive in B and needs to try to hold off what will be a very strong push in the end. Once again, it's going to be staggered. If Bound dies here, this is trouble for OpTic Gaming.
Bound does die, and they're spawning on the long haul. 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. Last player alive is Legend, who's just come off respawn actually at Elevator because last shot is inside of C. Royal 2 with the camo as well is going to finish this off, and now everybody from OpTic is split across at Elevator. They are spawning all over the place at the moment, OpTic, and the triple cap is back for Shopify. They could go into a lead in a few seconds' time.
Still staggered spawns here for OpTic. They need to wait for each other. Formal goes in right away, and is still 2 dead. Continues lane control coming in from Shopify. They will go into a lead here.
OpTic trying to wrestle C back. Last shot gets the kill onto Renegade. And even though C is being converted, the double cap of A and B is still here with 4 alive for Shopify Rebellion. If they hold this push from OpTic Gaming, this could be them going up 2-1 in this series.
Watch the damage, watch the kill feed. It's another first pick coming in from Cycle. That could actually seal the deal. Let's watch these next few kills. Oh, look at the movement
he
here.
knows how important this kill is on Formal. It stops them getting anywhere near A. They had committed towards A. Elsewhere, they're inside of C. Shopify are looking for blood. OpTic Gaming are 3 dead. Bound is the last alive, and Royal 2 is sliding his way in. Gets the reset, takes down Formal as well. Shopify Rebellion will close out the map. They go up 2-1. And I tell you what, we've got to stop looking at stats at this point, because Shopify, the way they played that, especially that endgame, was absolutely magnificent.
250 to 196 is your final score. It's a massive come-from-behind win several times in that game. Let's not forget, they were trailing 81 to 18, later 150 to 110, and they bring the game back, not just with control, but I think they also really, not only picking up that first spawner, didn't give OpTic a second to breathe. Trying to make something happen, trying to get out of their spawn cycle, but always collapsing on the first spawner. OpTic also not waiting for each other, trying to make something happen, and maybe needed a little bit more time. Shopify with a fantastic endgame to take game number 3. They lead 2-1.
Royal 2, 21 and 12 for him. Also, most assists in the game. Most of the bullets felt by OpTic Gaming members were coming from the guns of Royal 2 in that game. And I think you're right, there was a couple of moments where that blender was just devastating for OpTic Gaming. Shopify Rebellion kept split spawning them across the map. They would pick up 2 kills on spawners, fly across the map as a 4. And keep that going back and forth for what felt like 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 spawn cycles for OpTic.
Amazing back and forth here. You could just tell by the way that the scoreboard goes, right? Then you see Shopify off of a triple cap go into the lead by quite a margin. Shots like that from Frosty as well. Later on, it's still Shopify leading, and OpTic is about to go on a huge run of their own here, and just really tug-of-war style gameplay back and forth.
This is a beautiful double kill here. This is the definition of target prioritization coming in from Bound.
Was perfect.
Really,
like
really good from them.
And once again, 192 to 168 at this point. OpTic leading here by nearly 30, just around the 200-point mark.
A couple of decisions made by Royal 2 in that endgame I just want to talk about as well. You saw Formal cut towards Turbine. He recognized the most important kill on the map with that grapple was Formal, because if a fight gets lost in tower, OpTic Gaming can pitch onto A, and then they can fight back towards B. It's a problem. If he takes Formal down, he knows that numbers will be favorable to Shopify Rebellion, even if they have to scrap towards B a little bit later on. So it's, again, just brilliant decision-making from Royal 2 in that moment. And this is where we find ourselves. 2-1 up Shopify Rebellion as we head back to live fire, but this time, it's all about the Oddball.
You saw that pop off from last shot, once again reminding you just how much this means to them. The only 2 players, last shot and Cycle, looking for their first LAN win at a major. So there's a little bit extra on the line for them. Taking a look here at Oddball in the winners quarterfinal between these 2 teams and how that game type went.
Well, it went to OpTic 2-0, so they feel pretty good on this, and looking at the leaderboards and the stats and all of that good stuff, it felt like outslaying heavily was what OpTic Gaming were doing. Renegade with a 1.71, by the way, as if his average wasn't good. That one bumped the average up a little bit.
It certainly did, and safe to say that if you're on the Shopify side of the stage, now that you have this lead, you need to find a way to make sure that Renegade is not a devastating factor with a KD like that, anywhere near that, if we're honest, if they want to take this game yet again. Shopify with a big opportunity to not just keep this lead, but extend it. However, OpTic Gaming knows they do not want to go even further down in this series. If they tie it here, excuse me, if they win here, we'll be all tied up heading into the latter half of the series.
Well, get ready for a grueler here. This is going to be, you get the feeling, a long, long game of Oddball. Of course, that snipe is going to influence a lot of where that timer does go. This feels like a big game in this series. Massive game.
A big game. We're underway here, and the one thing I'm going to be looking at between these two teams, at the end of that game, I think there was a few times where OpTic Gaming needed to wait just a second for one another. They were trying to help the one player who was alive. In doing so, they kept themselves in the blender. Oddball, of course, a game type where you need to apply that similar philosophy as well. There are times to go, and there are times to wait. We'll see how OpTic Gaming looks with their pacing here in ball.
Shopify get the sniper rifle by the looks of things off of the break. It's going to be Royal 2, the man who just had an exceptional performance in our previous game, who has been hot with this weapon all finals long. Think about the first game, that assault that we saw on Fortress. Royal 2 with a sniper rifle in the armory. Well, this time he's got a chance to go back and do some more work with it. He doesn't have to worry about the opposition having a sniper because there's only one of them here on live fire.
Royal 2 sets the record for the longest hard scope at the C-Plat quick jump in history of play so far. And once again, I think a lot of people will have noticed, if you've been watching a lot of Halo Infinite, especially this season, the conservative openings from these two teams, right? Really slow off the opening because each team just looking for solid control.
Well, OpTic trying to scurry away with that ball back towards House and Garage. Renegade being an awkward kill, but last shot. Seems like it doesn't matter how you move, that reticle does not move off of your body if you find him.
Amazing shots indeed. Still 2 dead here. Looking for a little bit more control before they rotate the ball back. Pressure going to be coming from Big Door in just a second.
Obviously got a kill on Bound, just being sneaky in the back of the base there. That might have bought Bound enough time to get that trade and keep the numbers scrappy where that Oddball finds itself. 2 dead on either side once again. As if you needed an indication of how scrappy this fight has been.
Legend didn't see him in back window. Royal 2 gets to pick a very, very nice bait. And like we said, there's going to be times where you need to make plays like that. And that's going to blow things wide open. Now 3 dead for OpTic Gaming, all because Royal 2 sits in back A, sits in window, and catches Legend off guard. They will continue scoring.
The irony is, Legend was the one back on recharge in the first series. You're not listening, he said, make sure we're checking our corners.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to follow your own advice. 16 points have been put on the board, but OpTic have managed to break. OpTic have managed to get that Oddball into a neutral position. As the first kills are traded out between Renegade and Cycle. Formal looking for bodies at the moment. Can't really find anyone. Sneaks someone through the QT.
You might have the QT, but you're not going to get away from that reaction time from Formal. What a way to handle a QT player. 2 dead from both sides yet again.
It's just trade after trade after trade after trade at the moment. Last shot though, he's going to win that fight. Camo pop in as well, and Shopify are going to be sat on top of it. Cycle will get it, and now they can move that Oddball away. They feel they have everything they need to get a little bit of time on the board here.
Formal saw him. You can tell Formal was able to eagle eye. However, it's good damage coming out. Cycle might get pinched here. Going to try to stay alive. That ball essentially was played by Shopify. Ooh, Cycle trying to stay alive here.
He is staying alive here. Gets a beat down when really he had no right to. Legend last alive, and he's just come off respawn as well. We'll have an LOS on this ball.
Really well handled there by Shopify. They only had 1 camo player alive around the ball. Cycle bought up a lot of time, and they essentially play the ball around scoreboard to maintain the 20-4 lead. And once again, it's low scoring for these two, low scoring for any level, because of how these teams are training, like you say, Mark.
Triple kill for Bound, or an unofficial one for sure, will open the door here for OpTic to get that ball in the hands of Renegade. 20 points on the board for Shopify, 11 points on the board for OpTic. Such a low-scoring game, and you can expect that with how many trades we are seeing in these team fights.
It's amazing, and honestly, as we talk about it a lot, the small margins, but you're seeing them perfectly displayed for you, that it is expected that each player will be able to get and at least do the expected amount of damage and kills, and you're seeing them just statistically hit that perfectly. Speaking of shots, Legend going to try to burn some ammo now. Also gets a stick, of course he does, and that's what we're talking about. Every kill you have to work for so hard because they're going to find a way to eke out extra damage. OpTic Gaming now scoring about to tie the game.
I just give you an indication as well. Legend has to do something like that for OpTic to get 2 or 3 seconds of ball time. That's how tight this game is. That's how evenly matched these two teams are. 20-15 of 5 points. 1 minute 30 left on the game clock, by the way.
I think everyone's starting to watch the game clock now with only 126 left. This is one of the lowest scoring games, not just of the weekend, but ever probably in an Oddball in a grand final.
It was 3 dead for OpTic momentarily, and maybe this is going to be the biggest hold of the game. Coming in for Shopify Rebellion. Players flying through the big door. Bound doesn't get taken down, nor does Formal. Legend gets one, and just as I think it's going to be a hold for Shopify, it's 3 dead. Full Shopify, OpTic break cleanly, and now OpTic have that ball in their hands.
Frosty finally taken down as well. Royal 2 does respond though. Frosty stays alive long enough to get enough damage where the push is still coming here. Renegade still with QT, and somehow with 70 seconds left. It's just 28 to 21.
Perfect shots from him, has the QT away, and I don't think he really wanted to, knowing where that Oddball is.
Camo up.
Camo is coming up, like you say. Frosty's going to find Renegade, and there's going to be 2 players in the death screen for OpTic Gaming. I think Frosty and the rest of Shopify have recognized that if we just play Slayer for 50 seconds here, we win these fights, we win this round.
I think Formal has Camo. We'll take a look if that's still the case. It's going to be a big factor right now with 43 seconds left.
Reset bot middle makes it even more difficult for OpTic to get access to it. Renegade gets that first kill though, Formal gets the second, and you're quite right. Formal does have that Camo. Legend has that ball in his hands, and Psycho is the last alive for Shopify. 30 seconds left on the game clock, but OpTic finally will get that ball for long enough to go into a lead.
They go back into the lead. What a huge use of patient Camo from Formal yet again. We've seen him do it so many times, but the game is not over just yet. 30 seconds on the game clock, but potentially a lot more scoring yet to happen.
Legend will get the first 2 players. Going to be pushing the dummies, gives information to OpTic Gaming about where this push is coming in, and it's 15 seconds to hold. 15 seconds to deny Shopify getting near that Oddball, and they will be up by 1 here. He is 10 seconds into single digits now. OpTic running that ball away from Shopify.
Here comes the push. Legend needs to try to watch this angle. He's going to see A-Bags players. That's a big kill. More damage. There's 1 player left here in green.
Not going to get that near that Oddball, and it's going to be OpTic who do close it out in one of the lowest scoring Oddball rounds you will see in the Halo Championship Series, but OpTic will claim it as their own.
Gotta say, it really is amazing to see. We talked about it a lot, about the current meta of Halo Infinite is, first of all, you need to be ready to play so fast, but there are times where you need to be patient. You need to be slow and get control. And these 2 teams are doing it better than we've ever seen here in the HCS.
Formal immediately getting a little bit of ball time, by the way, because he's wrapping it back towards green. That's where the players from OpTic Gaming find themselves. And Frosty, with this sniper rifle, needs to start showing us why he is talked about as being the form player. Doesn't get it done this time, and Bound will collect that bounty now with the sniper rifle in his hand. He can lock down that Camo lane.
Nice little body coming in from Bound. As we said, so difficult to push him, and the team is there to clean it up. 1 dead for each side.
Another body, another kill. Doesn't get traded, doesn't get a beatdown landed on him as well. Spike grenade should keep him alive for a few seconds, but more importantly, it's allowed Renegade to move in, pick that Camo up, and OpTic picking up multiple kills, have Oddball in the hands of Formal again.
He was 2 dead for just a moment here, but Renegade with the Camo and the lead. This is very big in round number 2. Let's get into a listen and hear the hold.
Ball drop. Enemy has the ball.
Just tires.
Watch your right. John, watch your right.
You could go bottom mid.
We have ball. We have ball. Watching right side.
Watch out demi-tour, watch out demi-tour. He's demi-tour still. Demi-tour, go bottom mid. Get max demi-tour. Could be right on him, guys.
Bottom mid 20.
Could be right. Must one big, must one big.
I spent green, guys. He might be big.
We're coming to watch.
Yo, watch our screen. You guys are straights. Nice. Bottom is up.
A-plat, I think.
We're watching him
I
at.
think A-plat, let's go. I'm not here.
I hear him.
Check A-plat. Could be big on me. I don't see it.
Might play for one here. I'm here, Sabri.
Look top mid. Top mid, second week.
Watch
me.
What's up, guys? They peek in. A-plant and 8. He push.
Yeah, two screens. Two on mat. Ready?
Two shot on the dom, 2 shots.
Camo's up now.
They're behind you. Nice, they're behind you on the west street.
On camera right now, one shot. Yeah, shoot. Trying to rotate ball to the game.
Training one, guys, 1-2.
He has camera on me.
Training 1 or 2.
Yo, one zombies. Guys. Missing Psycho camera.
Training 1 2.
2 dead, guys. 2 dead. Psycho camera. Sniper and 5, guys. Sniper. I can
right here, tire, check. Right here, tire, Frosty.
On camera, guys.
Tire, Frosty. Tire, Frosty.
Oh my god!
Go be top pick.
Keep good. Take our time here, dude.
Top mid. Middle one shot.
Ball drop.
Enemy has the ball.
One can be white ball.
Not on ball right. Yeah, bound.
Cut cycle.
Fine, live here.
Shit, ball, it's fine.
Return, cuts. Nice.
Yo, watch out for watch out for Shopify.
Let's go.
Nice kill, nice guy.
Top SMS. Nice. Could be back.
Both weak.
Enemy
Nice
OpTic Gaming, 60 points on the board here. You can hear the comms. They sound pretty good, as you would expect at this stage of a grand final with how much is on the line. But it's Shopify who in the last 30 seconds or so have just started to get a bit of ball time. And there's a nuke from Royal 2.
What should have been a trade and a play ball instead becomes a huge Shopify advantage and opportunity. And what a shot. Absolutely dances around Formal. And now just like that, we're back to around the 44 game.
Still the ball in their hands.
Enemy has
Here's
the ball.
Shopify. OpTic just got to be careful here. Frosty trying to fly out. Last shot's going to find a kill. QT's back to green. Grenade goes back towards Frosty. Renegade and Formal find kills. It's 3 dead for Shopify. OpTic near that oddball bottom middle as well. Renegade is immediately on the case.
Roll 2 with a very important kill there to just even things up just a bit here on the push. You heard Lunchbox turn and listen and saying, let's take our time here, guys. They have allowed Shopify to come back within 30, but OpTic Gaming firmly scoring once again. It's a 4v4 push, and the first pick comes in for OpTic Gaming.
Cycle
Ball drop.
gets put in his back there by Formal. Such an important kill for him. Renegade now in an important one of his own, and he'll win that. 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion, 75 points and rising here for OpTic Gaming. Already 1 round to the good here. This round would put them on even footing in this series if they could close out.
Not the first time that Shopify tried to go very fast, and it cost them again in this game, and that's why we see OpTic Gaming leading 82-33. Still a lot of time on the game clock, however, so this one's not over. Legend is your last player alive here for OpTic Gaming.
Last alive, trying to buy time, trying to wait for spawns to come in, and the spawns do come in. One shot finds one though. Legend, no shields. Cycle, no shields. Who's going to win this one? It's Cycle. And how important could that be for Shopify Rebellion? They keep the ball close. They keep themselves clustered up together with that ball in their hands. And they might give themselves a chance here.
And they get the late kill on Formal here in Rat as well. Formal is only just spawning right now, so the kills will continue to be traded out. However, Cycle's last player alive. He needs to have a very good rotation here towards teammates.
Tries to hit the G-slide, might have just missed that one. And down the chimney, it's not Santa Claus, it's going to be Legend who falls and steals that oddball away. Now rotating it back to tower. We haven't seen the oddball near the tower many times in this game so far, and now he doubles back. 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion. OpTic getting closer and closer to a map win here.
Barring a miracle here from Cycle and Royal 2, this should be the round.
Legend has that ball in his hands. No one from Shopify is going to tear this one out of his. And Legend will hold that oddball. OpTic will hold the dub. And surprise, surprise, we are all tied up.
And this is how this rivalry has usually felt.
Right.
Just when you think someone might pull away, no.
Right.
Series is tied up. Tied up 2-2 here. Just like we saw online leading up to this event, just like we saw at the case on Showdown. It's another big win for OpTic Gaming, 133-73 in terms of total score, but 2 rounds to 0, and the stats did not lie. Speaking of stats, Legend, 27-16 for him. What a performance.
A lot of ball time, if I wasn't mistaken, for him as well in that game. This is just, this series, these 2 teams, just, it's an absolute pleasure to watch it. And I think everyone who's watching is kind of just taking it in and realizing how special these kind of series are. It's WrestleMania weekend at the moment, and there's a chant that goes down when there's a good match. It's like, fight forever. I feel like play forever is kind of the motto when you watch these 2 teams going against each other. You could watch this series go on and on and on because it is so special. What we're seeing from them both, it is back and forth, it is fights, it is bullets, it's moments that completely change the games. And Legend again, in these moments, seems to be a player stepping up this time around for OpTic.
Man, a highlight reel coming out of so many players on OpTic Gaming.
Sticks him on the knee here, by the way.
In the 2-0 win, you saw that, also the stick on the QT player as well. You can't get out of dodge fast enough when you're going up against Formal. That was great camo play, by the way, against Formal. Really methodical grab of the camo and usage of it. And it felt like they were just firmly in control of that game yet again. Let's not forget, earlier they found themselves on the receiving end of a 2-0 loss. Fortress Bomb, instead this time it was 2 rounds to 0 for Oddball Live Fire. And once again, we got that extended listening with the entire OpTic side. It felt like it came at the perfect time because they were just putting together perfect plays, perfect control, perfect comms as well.
Very, very impressive stuff from OpTic Gaming. And I think the impressive thing for OpTic is the fact that it seems like what happens in the previous game doesn't affect the next. And the same exact thing can be said to Shopify Rebellion right now. This shot from Royal 2, by the way.
for the killing spree as well.
So many medals just popped up on his screen. I don't actually know what he did.
Unbelievable. Also, this return to sender from Legend was fantastic. It was all OpTic Gaming all the way in our game number 4. As we get ready for game number 9 of the total series so far. Slayer on Solitude. Let's not forget we saw these two teams play this game type as well. OpTic taking it 50-37. That case on. I've also seen them play this earlier this weekend. We saw that 49-49 Slayer as well. Some team nades on the side of OpTic Gaming. They're going to be looking to have a very different game here.
Yeah, let's not do that again. That's not really how anyone wants to see this game end with a team nade. Let's hope the lunch has just whispered that in the ear of a couple of players before they get underway here, but we are all tied up. Game number 5. This is just enjoy it, everyone. Just enjoy it.
These two teams tied 2-2 head-to-head at Arlington here. Solitude Slayer, Shopify Rebellion with maybe a tiny bit of a statistical lead, but this one is going to go down to the wire as well. Just in case you didn't catch it in the winner's bracket earlier on in the quarterfinal, it was a 49-49 team nade coming in from Legend against Renegade, which gave an easy kill to Royal 2 to end game number 2, which, by the way, would have been a 3-0 OpTic win in the upper bracket had things gone differently. So already a lot of history between these two. Cycle doesn't get the camo because Legend threads the needle over the pillar on the camo.
Mistake from Legend. He's going to look to right that mistake. And like you say, it's crazy that this game type is the one that decided if OpTic went home 3-0, feeling good, nice early night, and instead they were here late after getting in early and have to fight their way through every single opponent that came up against them. SSG dealt with, Nemesis revenge taken, and of course a phase in elimination finals as well, 3-0. They just kept picking up steam, kept picking up momentum, and I tell you what, that momentum's looking pretty good at the start of this one. 7-3 with Legend. 3-0 and a shock rifle in his hands.
Really nicely done. They're not afraid to continue rotating here. They've also trapped 2 players here on Yard and Glass, and they're going to start to pick up those kills as well. 1 more player here in the Yard BR. Should be quick work. It is indeed. That means 9-4 lead here for OpTic Gaming.
Legend trying to just pre-shoot that angle, thinking that Royal 2 might peek for a second time, but Royal 2 just not given that opportunity. Instead finds a kill of its own. Legend just outputting so much damage at the moment. 4-0, but influencing a lot of damage across the map for his teammates as well.
Moments ago, Renegade was 0-4-1. Big assist coming in from him. Bit of a brawl in Glass. Formal wants to pick up all 3 of these if he can, but in the end, happy to get an assist on that one. Now 11-8, so a little bit closer here. Shopify somehow fighting out of some pretty tricky angles.
One thing that's really notable is the pace of this game. Like, both teams just flying at each other so far. Everyone wants to just get the upper hand. They want to flex their muscles a little bit here, but nobody's seemingly getting too much of a lead going their way. OpTic do, of course, have that lead, but Shopify keep trading, and now we find ourselves within 2.
Wow, Renegade last player alive. Bound gets trapped from a driveway truck angle. Didn't expect that one. Renegade last player alive. He has teammate spawning loop as well, so they might even get pinched here somehow. Once again, Teamfire allows them to trade continually. However, most importantly, what was just a 10-4 lead or so is now 16-13 off of a double kill coming in. Frosty doesn't burn the camo either. This is a big moment in the game. 3 dead for Shopify. Camo does get popped by Legend. Cycle was your first spawner. It's a 5-kill lead for OpTic with the camo. They could run away with it here.
OpTic timed those kills perfectly. Around that camo popping up on the map. They pick up the 3 dead, they get the camo, they back-to-back 3 dead. Shopify Rebellion, and that is why you're seeing that 6-kill advantage now that they have in the game. Legend, he's just all about info. I'm sure that he's got a pretty good indication without the camo about where these spawns are coming in and around blue. But he has a chance here to clean up some of the damage his teammates are doing. Just doesn't want to get stuck, gets 2 in that situation. Shopify Rebellion, 2 dead once again.
World 2 gets that audio cue and knew he needed to fly out to try to neutralize the player there. In the end, they do trade, but not before a lot of damage is done in favor of OpTic Gaming. 23-15, and as you said, it was managed and controlled chaos from both of these sides, but it's clear that OpTic Gaming has come out ahead with quite a sizable lead.
Renegades got the second shot rifle of the game as well. Legend had to go the first time around. Let's see if the Demon can do it a little bit better this time around. Re-challenges Cycle, a big kill from him. Maybe just a touch of overconfidence.
I was going to say, we saw conservative Renegade earlier. That was definitely aggro Renegade. But hey, when you have a cushion like this, you can get away with plays like that. 26-18 now.
So when you're dropping 1.52s across a tournament, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Again, something to highlight here. OpTic Gaming in the lead, of course, but it's Formal with a big performance so far in this Slayer once more. We've kind of highlighted some of the questions that have been posed and we've seen about those big game performances in those Slayers where he's just let the side down a little bit. Well, no signs of that whatsoever here in Arlington. 7-5 as they continue to lead by 6 here. Cameron pops. I think Shopify might grab that one.
This is a big opportunity here. Now only down by 7, and the game is still within reach. And what Last Shot does with this camo alongside his spawners is going to be really, really influential on how the rest of this game plays out.
Fortunately for him, like 2 teammates just fell alongside it, so he can't extend, he can't go forward because there's going to be multiple players if he gets called out and a bullet taken, they're just going to collapse onto him and it becomes a trade.
Look at the OpTic Turtle. They're going to sit in Cafe in blue and they're going to make camo come to them. They're going to waste all the camo time and they're going to wait also the advantage. Look at that. It's a beautifully handled camo. Well managed there by all of OpTic Gaming. No kills recorded alongside the camo.
And Last Shot with that camo doesn't even get a trade in that situation. Wow. Royal 2 and Frosty will pick up a couple of kills, but the lead is continuing to extend here for OpTic Gaming. Legend finds one, but here, all of a sudden, comes Shopify Rebellion. They flood, they managed to get the kills. It was 4 dead for OpTic Gaming. And now it's just a 5-kill game with everybody spawning together. They have the pinch here, and they are starting to split spawn OpTic. 2 alive on the map, just trying to hide, trying to stay alive. They want 4 on the map desperately here, OpTic.
Wow, this game is absolutely flipped on its head here. Here comes OpTic trying to fight out of Hotel with all 8 players alive. Let's go do it. Listen with OpTic Gaming.
Just on that truck.
Kill truck.
Watch truck and flash. We're done, guys.
Yo, listen, 1 nest, 1 going blue. They're gonna push us, they're gonna push you, Careful. Give me posters. One is posters. We're done,
Nice, shoot it, guys.
We're out, Yard, give me Yard.
Get this camo with the game.
Yo, Pucha,
Let him spawn blue. Can we just show for a second?
Yeah.
I come shot.
Yo, Bound, get out. Yo, they might try to get me.
Yeah, they're in hotel.
I'm pushing for guys. Varus. Watch out, Varus on top go. I'm making live. Don't fuck that.
We're pushing, we are pushing.
Yeah.
Alright, we can't push that. We might not be able to push that.
Yeah, I'm backing up. Yeah, we're going. You guys.
Watch over. Bottom, priest, scamming, priest.
Top market.
One's LR. Yeah, blue. Bottom, should be trapped.
We can. Stop pushing trap.
Can we slow down a little bit? Formal says in the listening, and then he takes the game over. The shock rifle, the camo, leaves him at 14-9, and it puts OpTic into the lead in this series. They take the Slayer, and it's Formal who leads the way.
And you can read the lips on Formal. Very happy with the team after that one. They take control, they take over. 50-38 is your final score, and in doing so, they take the series lead at 3-2. And we don't need to tell you watching in the arena or at home, there is so much riding on this series. This team assembled to break the second place curse that OpTic Gaming was subjected to all of 2024. And with games like that, they now find themselves only 1 game away from taking the title.
1 more game. OpTic Gaming, so close. And this would be one of the most historic, I think, tournament victories that we've seen in quite some time. Think about, again, what OpTic have had to go through.
Exactly.
It's been crazy. Let's just start with the second place curse, right? That consistent story that was all of last year for the organization, for Formal in particular. Come into this season, look pretty good. Then all of a sudden, Shopify Rebellion pop up, start winning the onlines. We get to the first event, which is a little table setter, a little taster for the season. They come in second place, even though they split games. It's still second place. They then come into this event, they get beaten by Nemesis, an upset, we have to say. Nemesis were great, and have to go on this insane elimination bracket run with a power outage, which means they have to come back first thing in the morning, about 8 a.m.
Yes.
Finish that series out, which they lose. They then have to keep going,
all day,
fight their way through all day. They play their last series at about 10, 11
I would say around 14 hours later, the same day, OpTic Gaming was in the elimination bracket, still fighting through just to get to today.
And then getting to today, they have to go through phase. They look great. It's been a historical run. And then they get to the grand finals. Shopify Rebellion, who have had their number so far this season.
Through SSG as well.
Through SSG as well. Apologies. They not only reset the bracket, they 4-0. It's one of the most dominant first performances we've seen in a final. And they're doing it here in front of their home crowd. They're doing it here in front of Maniac and the watch party. Shout out Collects, Lethal, and of course APG as well, holding it down. But there's still one thing missing, Andy. And that is one more game. One more game to call themselves champions and finish what has been the most ridiculous story and tournament run that we have seen in quite some time.
Could not agree more. The road that they have taken here, especially when you add the backstory of this roster assembling and dismantling a team that had just won a $1 million world championship. To then fight the road that they've fought, to have lost to Shopify earlier. All the talk, all the chatter, all the grinding, as we said, yesterday was probably a 14 to 15 hour day for OpTic Gaming in the elimination bracket, but it only made them stronger, as we saw. Amazing games all day today. The 4-0 and now fighting for their lives here in the second series. But how about these last two games? It's a huge, huge turnaround for OpTic Gaming, now only one game away from taking the first major of the season.
Now I have to think about the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
If Shopify come back here, boy, it's not going to be a nice place to be for OpTic Gaming. It's going to be a very, very bitter pill to swallow after everything they've gone through to get to this point. Now, CTF Forbidden is going to be the game type that we go to. It's a game type which is very kind of unique when it comes to capture the flag game types in Halo Infinite. You've got dual snipers, you've got an overshield, but you also have the ability to take games over. You can double cap. And before you know it, that game, that CTF Forbidden can be done. And we're into, if it goes the way of Shopify Rebellion, a game number 7, Slayer Recharge, where your head is all over the place.
I am so glad this is game number 6.
Same.
This is such a visceral, in-your-face, dual sniper, fast-paced CTF match, and it's the perfect game type to decide if we go to a game number 7 or not. Take a look here at the flag cap leaders. It's Legend with 7 on the board. And also in this lobby, of course, World 2 and Last Shot not far behind as OpTic Gaming retakes the stage.
They will not need to be told what needs to be done. One more game. One more game is all they need. For Shopify Rebellion, send it the distance. Make OpTic sweat. Steal it away from under them. And I think you're right. CTF Forbidden being this game type is, oh yeah, like you say, it is going to be two just giants just headbutting each other mid-map. And you're going to have the chance for those big moments that are going to decide if this tournament continues or if we'll be crowning our first major champion of the year.
And we should really mention LAN records so far, including the case on Showdown. Shopify Rebellion 5-2 in CTF, OpTic Gaming 4-4. So if we are to believe that there is any statistical advantage here, we've learned that we can often throw. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've seen Shopify dominant on CTF with more than a 2x record in terms of win-loss. OpTic Gaming even at 4-4. So we could get to a game number 7, but it's going to come down to these 12 minutes. And you can tell with that expression on Last Shot's face. They are so close, he and Cycle, as they continue to write their careers, still at such a young age, trying to strip a championship off of the veterans on the other side of the stage. And OpTic Gaming, they know they want to end it here. They do not want to go to a game number 7.
What an experience this is for Cycle and Last Shot for your first finals as well.
Yeah.
They're going to take a lot away from this, regardless of which way we finally award that trophy that sat in the middle of this stage. This could well be the final game here in Arlington. OpTic Gaming, if they take it, will reset the bracket and become your champions in one of the craziest tournament runs you have ever seen. But if you've watched these two teams throw down, ever since these rosters came together, you will know and you will feel that maybe, just maybe, there's another twist here.
Take a look at this. Arlington CTF record's different from the total 2025 record. OpTic Gaming with a slight advantage at 4-2. More games played, of course, over Shopify's 3-2. So, as we said, it could not be closer. We're underway in game number 6. OpTic Gaming 1 game away. Shopify looking to close here to force a game number 7.
Will it be elation or will we see a little bit of a delay on who we are etching the name of?
Overshield burned.
The trophy on that stage. Renegade's going to grab that sniper rifle. 2 dead though for OpTic Gaming off the rip.
Renegade tries to go for the 360 under pressure, however. Frosty knows he needs to grab that sniper rifle. There's 2 dead here for OpTic. Bound, staying alive, top sewers.
This is the OpTic sniper rifle. This is not good news for OpTic. It's 4 dead. They're spawning in the back of the base. 2 snipers in the hands of Shopify Rebellion as well. You can see the bullet traces flying through the skies. Royal 2 will find 1 on a spawner. Frosty just delaying it by destroying the body of Legend. This one's going home. Cycle runs it home. Shopify strike first.
49 seconds flat on the first flag cap. Shopify wasting absolutely no time, and you just saw Frosty just tucked back into the lily pad. Trying to stay alive long enough, wants to do it again.
An incredible response from Shopify Rebellion. First, like you say, 40 seconds or so in this game, they get that flag cap. Formal though, aggressively pushing through the hut towards the Mohawk. He's going to pick up a kill, and Legend and Bound follow suit. Last player alive is going to be last shot, and even though it was a scary start, they get the kills required to get that flag moving. But as you say, big kill from last shot.
Not even a trade from last shot. Beautifully done. He was the only hope for Shopify to stop that flag from going straight up the main ramp. And instead, he not only gets the kill, stays alive, and allows his team to push out of the base here. It's a big individual effort. He also leads the game and the team in kills here at 5-2.
Well, it seems the snipers have been put away for a few moments. The ammo has been used up, which means it's all about the grenades. It's all about the bandit. It's all about control of top middle as this overshield is coming up. You can see OpTic do not want to progress on the map. They want to hold this position, knowing how important that power-up can be.
Last shot still alive in the exact same spot. Overshield should be a clean grab, and they're grabbing it as they are running it with 3 dead. This flag, based on the numbers alone, should absolutely go.
Nobody in position outside of last shot. He's going to get spotted out. He's going to be cut down, and even though it's Shopify who strike first, here comes the counter punch from OpTic Gaming. Renegade slide this one in. We are tied up at 1-1 here on CTF Forbidden.
Formal finally taken down, but Legend still has Overshield to play with. He does lose 2 teammates. However, this should be just enough positioning-wise in terms of the comp that they'll be able to get recontrol of their base.
So the Overshield is converted into a flag cap. Although you feel like maybe they were going to get that flag cap even without the Overshield, with the Slays and the timing of them and the way that they got that flag moving almost immediately. Sniper rifles coming up pretty soon as well. We've seen Shopify really take advantage of that. Cycle will lose the 1v1 to Legend. And it's Royal 2 who starts running this flag. Interestingly, through the sewers by the looks of things, as OpTic find themselves 2 dead.
Brown needs to stay alive here, top middle. Was 2 dead for both sides momentarily. Let's see what Formal can do.
No one with the sniper control, though, for Shopify Rebellion. So Formal knows he hasn't got to worry about that weapon going against him. He hasn't got to worry about a sniper bullet coming his way. Renegade has overextended himself and has got a flagpole on the other side of the map. Really interesting split of resources across the map from both teams here.
Very good pressure from Cycle will allow, presumably, a player to grab snipe on the Shopify side of the map. It's Frosty's a bit late, though. Big kill from Formal. He wraps back there, pings exactly where the sniper rifle is.
And 2 dead, though. And Formal somehow, what on earth? Somehow kills Royal 2.
I mean, he hits it in such a small frame, I don't even think it was visible on our monitors. That was unbelievable effort from Formal to hit that no-scope before getting taken down.
Overshield coming up. Men a flag cap. Last time we saw it being collected by OpTic Gaming. Frosty with this sniper rifle in his hand. You've just heard the pop of the Overshield, but where has it gone? Royal 2 has collected it. 3v3 on the map right now. Formal trying to push, trying to take maybe attention away from the OpTic base towards the Shopify one himself.
And they're getting the kills as well. Bound just picked up another one. Finally, Formal is cleaned out, though, so they know the player is not behind them. However, still more work to be done if they want to get a flagpole here.
Royal2 using these sticks, these logs, these branches to climb back towards top middle. He gets one as OpTic will be 2 dead, but so will Shopify Rebellion. Big 1v1, Legend trying to slide and take one to the grave with him. Formal first one off the respawn here, gonna try and just stay alive long enough for OpTic to get on the map, but Cycle has this sniper rifle. Spots Bound out, but just the timing eluded him as he went out of that scope. Bound will survive.
Only one shot left, it doesn't connect here. In the end, good patience from OpTic. They shut down that play from Cycle, and here they come top mid. Legend does not need an invitation. He is in your base.
You can see exactly why he's got the most flagpoles, right? He is immediately turning his attention towards the objective. He knows that if the kills are there, he's got to use that timing window to get the objective moving and then think about what happens afterwards. 2 dead here for Shopify. Formal.
My.
He's running that flag, by the way. And this might be an opportunity to go 2-1 up in this game. Cycle versus Renegade. Renegade will win that, and he's starting to get loud about it as well. Formal, by the way, as you can see on the indicator, as that flag back towards the base, he's running it to the front. He's jumping straight in. It's OpTic, who are now 1 flag away from becoming your champions here in Arlington.
And just like that, the game-winning flag on the board. Whether they get this last flag as the green wall chant erupts here in Arlington, or they play the clock, the win condition is on the board.
The tournament is in OpTic's hands. Overshield coming up right now. Cycle trying to contest Formal for it. Top middle, but Formal picks up the kill. He gets the killing spree. He gets the overshield. And OpTic might be thinking about closing this one out, but there's a back smack. But Bound's running this one. Bound is running this one. He's trying to be sneaky. He's trying to get this flag moving.
Very big back whack indeed. Frosty tries to make an angle happen from Swamp.
3 dead.
Gonna continue this run. Bound's gonna try to get down here through sewers. Last shot was last player alive. He had to get that kill. Keep an eye on the kill feed here. They're gonna get a touch. Formal's dropping.
Formal's gonna be safe to grab it as well. He's gonna have the pillars to cover. Legend gets one. Legend bodies another, but keep your eyes on Formal. Formal, the man who put this squad together. The man who committed to being a champion this year. Can't quite get it done. As at the last second, it's Shopify who desperately trying to extend this series.
And the flag is pulled as well. We do have a counter pull coming in. Both flags off the stand.
OpTic have the flag back at their base, but they do not have it capped. They need kills. Formal back off the respawn, might be able to get a touch on this one. He does get it, it's actually Renegade who gets the touch.
3 dead though.
But it's 3 dead for OpTic. They were seconds, they were inches away from being your champions here in Arlington. But Royal2, not only has the return come in, Royal2's running this one for Shopify now.
Here comes Legend, he needs a miracle. He might try to get a last second flagpole here. I don't know if he has the timing.
It's tied up!
Unbelievable, 3 dead here. Frosty last player alive. And here comes the pressure. They're gonna fly right into Swamp. They're gonna try to get a flagpole right away. They're gonna continue the pressure. Frosty rotates over to Snipe.
Shopify trapped in the back of the base. Maybe the play call from OpTic there was give this one up. We'll play for map control. You've got to think ahead if you're OpTic. You cannot let what just happened affect the next few moments of this game. Formal tries to get that flag moving again.
They got the first pick, however, kills are traded out. They're trying to make something happen quickly, and it might cost them.
3 dead for OpTic. Legend does get the overshield though, so OpTic will be able to keep pressure on. Legend can output damage onto numerous players.
It's a burn, essentially. It's an important play from Legend. Really, it's the denial of the overshield that's much more important than the grab. Obviously, no control gain. Simply denying that overshield was everything now. 3 dead for OpTic Gaming off the rip. Again, Renegade is the only spawner. It's a main ramp flag run.
I cannot believe this. Last shot's got this one up the main ramp. Frosty gets the first kill. Last shot. He's got this one back under the bridge. Last shot, Legend, keep your eyes on Legend. Legend's the overextender hit for OpTic. He can save the tournament for them right now. But all of OpTic are falling. Frosty and Royal2 combined. It's Renegade who can't get close, and somehow or other, Shopify Rebellion send us the distance. OpTic were inches, millimeters away from calling themselves champions, but what do you expect from Shopify Rebellion? They get the return, they get the cap, and they send us the distance. Game 7, bracket reset. Next one is all that matters. I am at a loss for words. I don't, what do you want? What on earth is that?
You have got to be kidding me. In what was already one of the most historic grand finals in the history of the Halo Championship Series, with Formal mid-flight G-slide on the flag, gets taken down. We're gonna see it in the highlights. My God.
Formal's got his wings out. He's thinking about what's about to happen. The whole room is thinking it's done. We're thinking it's done. Shopify Rebellion, a goal line stand, a last second, a last ditch effort.
I cannot wait to see this again.
Get the return. Let's catch my breath.
This is one of those where you know exactly how the movie ends, but you cannot wait.
You don't know how this movie ends.
To see it again.
Oh.
An unbelievable game time. Like I said, I was glad this was game number 6. And I think everyone at home and in the arena was as well. It looked like this, I mean, OpTic Gaming had everything written here. This was to be their game. This was perfect run after perfect run. Formal brings this flag home. And man, I'm happy to sit here and watch all these highlights. At this stage in the game, it's 2-1 OpTic Gaming with 6 minutes left.
Just an epic. That's the only way you can describe it. Whenever these two teams match up, it's like, what's next? How do we outdo each other next time around?
That back from Royal 2. Look at this stop. Legend hits the brainer.
Legend gets one, bodies another. Puts Frosty to no shields.
Formal on the G-slide. Full shields here, by the way.
It's Frosty. Frosty with an absolute god nade. A god nade. Does enough damage from the snipe bridge. It's just... Game 7.
We could not ask for more between these two.
I am going to throw up.
And I tell you what, backstage, there was a lot of people, maybe they manifested it, brought it into existence. A lot of people were saying, I want to see, us too, by the way, a bracket reset game 7.
Look
now,
at this
name from Frosty.
Oh. And it's him who gets the kill as well.
It's actually, yeah, you're right. He's pre-nading, and actually it's the team shot from the main ramp as well, along with Frosty sitting in the snipe hut, that stops that flag mid-flight from going in. It would have been an OpTic Gaming hoisting the trophy. Instead, we go to a final bracket reset, game number 7.
Shopify have stepped away from the stage for just a few seconds here. OpTic still sat there waiting. And I think this is a deliberate ploy from Shopify Rebellion. Let them think about what just happened, how close you were, but not close enough. I think the more time that Shopify take here, the more it's going to hurt OpTic, the more they're going to be thinking about it. But at the same time, OpTic have been through it all. And we've mentioned it has been just emotional, physical roller coaster for them to get to this point. And this, it feels like one more hurdle to overcome in 1,000 hurdles that have been in their way.
This is the reset so far. And as you'd expect, 2 players positive on each team, 2 players just under a 1.0 on each team. And we could not be any closer. This grand final has been incredible. We know many of you are joining us from all around the world, staying up to late hours of the evening, or if you're with us here Central Time, all the way now to nearly 9 p.m. in a historic weekend of competitive Halo, and 1 game separating these two for a tournament title.
It's been an eventful weekend, to say the least. And now we head towards one more game, and we will decide who's going to be our champ. It has been an incredible tournament, and just a reminder to everyone, if you're watching here, if you're watching at home, wherever you're part of this, this is the first event of the season. The first event of the season is providing us with this level of entertainment, this level of skill and ability. And if you're watching some Halo Infinite for the first time, welcome. We hope that you're going to be here to stay.
We've seen this team, these 2 teams, play this exact game type a few times. It was a 50-47 win for Shopify Rebellion, so a 3 kills separating the 2.
It's quite big between these 2.
It's true, it's a massive lead when we're talking about these 2 teams, but a 3-kill win at the Kason Showdown in this exact game type, which I think tees us up perfectly. We've already seen them play it on LAN, and barely anything separating the 2. And I cannot get over that game, that
Can we
fortress.
talk about that nade a little, just for a second, by the way? The way it bounces, it literally lands at the foot of the flagpole.
Right. And then, but he times the nade perfectly where he still gets this, right, the kill feed has to him actually getting the kill with the bandit as well. So like the timing was insane.
If the nade is like a foot off, Formal's probably got enough shields to make it. It is pixel perfect. And that's not a 12-foot nade. That's like a 40-foot cross-map nade.
That's not easy, right. When you're fighting from your opponent's hut and street like that, you're getting absolutely dinged from every angle. And I tell you what, I think once again, OpTic Gaming got a little bit impatient thereafter, right? The game wasn't over then. They're still leading at that point. And I think they tried to make something happen a little bit too quickly. We've seen them do that in this series before. It costs them in the end. Taking a look here at some OpTic shooters. The Slayer stats so far in the grand final reset, both of them on a 1.56 in the Slayers so far.
And again, just to highlight, and Renegade, we talked a lot about him. Legend is doing a lot of this without picking up power weapons. He's not first in line to find a sniper rifle. He'll be picking it up off the floor, off of a body. Whereas Renegade is going to be given that responsibility a lot of the time for OpTic, which just gives, again, more weight to how impressive those Slayer stats are for Sabri, for Legend on OpTic Gaming. One thing to note on the Slayers that we've seen so far in these series, OpTic have been heavily on top when it comes to this particular game type. But what is the psyche? What is the mentality of OpTic going into this game 7 after what we just saw?
And how about we just saw from Formal, right? Just closing his eyes and taking a deep breath. Let's not forget, we've also seen historic moments from Formal on Recharge Slayer before, right? With him having the camo. And guess what? Getting no-scoped by the shock by who else? Royal 2, who's on the other side of the stage right now. This is a historic battleground in year 4 of this game, where each of these players will have different stories. Does OpTic Gaming find revenge and justice in the team change? Or is it all for naught? Is it another second place for OpTic on the other side of the stage? Do we see Last Shot and Cycle getting their first LAN win ever? And the veterans Royal 2 and Frosty being justified in their team change? Only one of those stories can be true. Only one side of those stories will take place.
Well, nervy looking faces out there, and understandably so.
Everyone's looking like Formal. Big deep breaths for the green wall here in Arlington, and from everyone joining us around the world. Once again, huge shout out to everyone who has stayed up with us on the Scum Party here on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Maniac Watch Party, LBT, and everyone else co-streaming. It's been historic, and we are getting ready for the final match of the evening. One game of Slayer to decide who will hoist the trophy and take the first major of 2025.
A few more seconds to wait as we have the lobby remade here, but it almost just builds the anticipation. It builds this moment even more. It's just, like you say, it's fascinating you talk about some of those moments with players that have interacted with those big kill moments, those big swing moments. The Royal 2, Formal camo, shock rifle on bat ledge. One of the big parts of Halo history now. There's just a moment that will be remembered, and you get the feeling in a game 7, there has to be a moment like that that is going to be remembered. That's going to swing that trophy from one side of the stage to the other into the hands of one set of 4 players. These are the kind of circumstances that you can't prepare for. This is just instinctual at this point. You can do everything, you can scrim, you can talk, you can go through experiences, but this is just what you're made of. This is just what you are as a person. This is just performing when you have to. And making a play that's going to win your team a championship.
And let's not forget, not just the entire offseason, but all of last year has built to this moment. Like we said, OpTic Gaming is tired of second place, and they built a team to make sure it does not happen again. All of that loading all the way into this game. It just feels like there's so much on the line for this year, right? How do you start this year? It would be a statement for either side. The rivalry that we knew would be the 2 teams to watch, the 2 teams we knew would be in a grand final, but we had no idea it would be quite this good. We've gone the distance, and it will be just 12 minutes and 50 kills to decide who starts this year ahead. Let's take a look at the Slayer record so far.
7-3 for Shopify Rebellion, 9-5 for OpTic Gaming. OpTic have won both Slayers, however, in the Grand Finals reset. Something to keep in mind for OpTic fans.
Which was completely different, keep in mind, from the winners quarterfinal that we saw. And we are underway in game number 7.
All right then, Arlington, give us your energy. Everybody on that stage deserves it. They have put on quite the show. In our first HCS Major of the year, it's Formal who opens things up with a frag grenade. And it's followed up by Bound. It's a 2-0 opening strategy. That's gonna give the lead here to OpTic.
First 3 kills now, 3-0. Shroud also goes down here on Camo. Legend able to grab it. And what an opening, what an opportunity for OpTic Gaming. You also have a feeling the green wall is gonna be allowed for every single kill in this room.
I think that's just gonna settle the nerves here for OpTic Gaming as well. If they lose that opening strat, that opening battle, maybe things feel a bit different, but 6-1, all of a sudden, the memories are erased. A 5-kill lead off the break here. Control of the map and control of this finals.
6-1 off the opening. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're on OpTic Gaming, and Renegade now with both Grapple and Shock. What a weekend he's had, and what an opportunity to put a punctuation mark on it. If they don't take this game, it will all be for naught.
Game has come to an absolute standstill, and this game has been, these 2 series have been played at 1,000 miles an hour. That's how much this means. Legend's gonna find one. That's gonna keep that lead. And now, having been given the opening, 2 players are gonna be left alive in tower. Another kill got picked up by OpTic. It's 8-1 for them. And with the numbers that they have, Renegade's able to stay alive a little bit longer than he probably should have in that situation. Royal 2 puts Former down to no shield, somehow stays alive as well. And by doing so, Frosty gets involved to take him down.
You get the feeling they should be even more than 10-4 at this stage of the game. No trade comes in. Royal 2 gonna stay alive back tower. Excuse me, back Ellie for even longer. And finally, he's taken down. It's 11-6, and to be honest, I feel like Shopify should be very happy they've kept the game this close.
11-8 now, as we see the next camouflage popping up bottom middle. That's gonna be the point of contention for both of these teams. And you get the feeling it's almost not important to get it as much as it is to make sure that your opposition don't get it.
It really is.
You can burn it, and that's everything.
It really is, just like last game. It's really about denying here. Royal 2 with it. And look at the scoreline. You have a feeling OpTic Gaming got greedy at 6-1 with Shock and Grapple. Did they need to flush out tower? Did they need to get into that dicey situation? Now they only lead by 1.
Info coming in from Royal 2. Frosty finds one. Bound slides out, but it's 2 kills, and it's 3 dead for OpTic Gaming, and Shopify have turned that table once more in their favor, only by 1, but they have their first lead of this game.
Remarkable resilience here from Shopify. Trailing 6-1, they slow the game down to a crawl, and somehow find the lead now, tied at 16.
Bound gets the pick to give OpTic a 1-kill advantage. Now he's flying in with that grapple to grab the shock rifle as well. He's trying to pick the pace up a little bit here. Formal no shields, but Renegade's here to support him. Most of the Shopify Rebellion players are trapped in and around the elevator, and if they're quick here, OpTic Gaming, they might have a pinch, but that flank on the C plat is going to slow things down just a little bit. There's a 2nd kill for last shot, and the grapples across map for Renegade are just not working out.
Renegade wanted to capitalize on the damage at Whirlpool. Instead of grabbing the shock was not grabbed instead. They're now trailed by 3 kills here. Once again, it's big play calls coming in from OpTic, and twice now they didn't pay off.
Renegade not looking. Doesn't look both ways when he crosses the street. Somehow gets out of it with a trade, though. It's a 3-kill advantage here for Shopify. Cycle looking for information, looking for any damage he can output at the moment. The pings are coming in here, and he's taking a sneaky little jump. Former's going to be in front of him. It will only be a trade. 2 kills, the advantage for Shopify.
Unbelievable turn of events and swing here in this game. Keep an eye on bottom middle right now. This camo could determine who wins this tournament.
Bound's got the shot, can't quite connect with the headshots. That one's going to be good with the Bandit though. Tries to push in front of this camo. The Shroud goes down as well. OpTic should, and I say should, be in a position to get away with this camo. We'll have to look through the POVs to make sure if it was burnt or if someone has managed to collect it.
Big trade there. 3 were dead. Renegade last player alive. Might be a burn bottom middle. It was 3 dead for each side, and it's still just a 1-kill lead for Shopify. Kills traded out once again, no surprise. But Cycle right now popping off 11-2 on the other side. It's Bound 10-7.
Well, back to a standstill. OpTic set up around the pipes. and the glass. It's Tower and A here for Shopify. Royal 2 though, I like this play from Renegade. He's trying to up the pace, he's trying to take advantage, and he gets that shot back in their hands. Only the one bullet to play with, but elsewhere on the map, it's Formal and Bound.
Wow.
Who pick up kills, and OpTic now have a 2-kill advantage.
Beautifully done there, and I love this from Renegade. They're also going to find last shot. Hiding on the crate, and now a 3-kill lead. The Let's Go OpTic chant erupts.
And as Legend said a little bit earlier in this listening, in this series, check your corners. And last shot does exactly that.
And just like this now, as it's 32-29, the first sizable lead here at the mid-game. Let's get to a listen-in with OpTic Gaming.
Long guy.
Yeah, push it. Two here. Slow this down a little bit. Yo, hold up. Stronghold's open right now. You should get through it, man.
What's on the window?
I'm here. Yeah, it's 15, guys.
But I'm telling one guy.
Yo, red chips! We're here. Two here. They're gonna go up.
Go flash shot. Last one shot. Absolute balance shot.
We're not there.
Yo,
Balance one.
Put me.
We're not. Campbell's up, guys. They're gonna
Balance one down. Once.
Get up shot. But I'm telling you, place. Watch out, Megler step. He's gonna Megler step. Come on. He's like trippy.
Campbell's almost out, guys. Pretty. They got like 3 seconds to Campbell, 5 seconds to Campbell.
Oh my gosh, it's glass jockey, watch our glass. Watch our get out.
Ready. We can't.
Get out.
Needles. They're trying to hold me, guys. They're trying to hold me. I spawn behind that guy.
1 kill, the difference between these two teams as we come out of the listening, and understandably OpTic sounding a little bit stressed.
Frosty there alone in red pipes. They're going to try to collapse on him if they can. You can see it here in third person, and they will be able to now. Still, just 1 kill, 40-39 in favor of Shopify.
10 kills to go for Shopify, 11 for OpTic. Formal gets 1. We're tied up at 40-40. Nothing between these two teams again.
Unbelievable. OpTic, great resilience here. We're going to try to keep him alive here on Royal 2. Might get taken down the overhang. He does. 2 dead here for Shopify.
It's a 2-kill advantage for OpTic Gaming. It was Bound with the first pick. It's Legend with the second. Cycle answers back, but here comes Renegade. Here comes OpTic. They go into a 3-kill lead. They just need 6.
After just trailing moments ago, they brought this game not only back, but as you say, a 3-kill lead at this stage is massive. They're going to look for the opening damage here, but otherwise, they can really let their opponents come to them. All eyes on this camo.
And you get the feeling they're not going to make the same mistake as last time. They are going to slow this down. They are not going to force the pace. They don't want to make mistakes. Legend, though, he's there to take down Royal 2. And there's a cushion starting to develop here for OpTic Gaming, but if they learn anything from that previous game, it is not done until it's done, and Cycle has the camo.
Tournament in his hands, down by 2. How does he play this?
Formal gets out of that situation with the trade. Cycle's down! The camo is down! And OpTic now find themselves just 3 away.
Renegade makes a hero play. He makes sure that they burn camo, and he does it so well. Now 48-44, 2 kills to go for OpTic.
Royal 2 gets 1, but it is just 2 to go. Renegade taking danger, taking some angles as Formal gets the 49th on the board. Renegade is on the hunt. He wants it to be his, but it's Formal. And Shopify turtled up.
Here it is.
Formal moves in. Formal gets the kill. Formal gets the kill. And OpTic will complete the ultimate story. Champions here in Arlington the hard way. The most difficult way possible. But they reset the bracket. They break the curse, and they can call themselves champions.
And Formal wastes no time. Picks up that trophy because OpTic Gaming has earned it through an arduous offseason and an unbelievable weekend run that will never be forgotten from the elimination bracket. To take the title and a bracket reset. Game 7 down to the wire.
A lot of teams would not have made it back from what happened at the end of that CTF Forbidden. That would have broken them. Not OpTic Gaming. This roster is built for success, was built to win. And as you can see on your screens, justified in making the changes. Your HCS Arlington Major 1 champions are OpTic Gaming.
And not just that, but with this victory, with the team change, the second place curse for OpTic Gaming is officially broken here and now. Your champions at the OpTic Major, doing it in their own house to start the 2025 season, and as you say, justifying one of the most historic and even controversial team changes in competitive Halo history. But you heard it from them before the event. We made this team change for a reason, and we knew it could be the best in the world, and right now, that's where OpTic Gaming is.
And you look at the reaction from Formal, it just feels like the weight of the world is lifted from his shoulders now. Sick of second places, hates not winning. But now that winning feeling is back. What a moment for OpTic Gaming. What a moment for those 5 players and coach, of course, Box, who's at the end there on our stage. OpTic Gaming are your champions. Blaze, let's hear from the champs.
Texas, make some noise for your champions, OpTic Gaming! Wow! What a series that was, Renegade. You haven't been in the grand finals since Atlanta last year. You make it back to the stage and you come out with a big W. Talk to me about how you're feeling in this moment, because Texas, you guys can agree, did he play absolutely insane this weekend? Chat, I think you guys are chanting MVP as well, and usually I save the MVP for the end, but bro, you killed it this event. Good job, man. How you feeling?
I feel fucking amazing, bro. That is the best tournament I've ever played in my life. Like, not even individually with the team, the circumstances we had to overcome, like that was amazing. Shout out to these guys.
Shout out to them as well, man. It was an extremely difficult tournament for you guys to have to go through and come away with a win. Legend, I believe that makes it a 4-peat for you going from last year. You had to play against your old teammates. You had to prove haters wrong. But yet again, you stand on top of this stage as a champion. How do you feel, Legend?
Honestly, I feel amazing. Like, I knew we were going to win the shit since yesterday when we were down like 0-2. And we reversed with them. Like, I knew that tournament was for us, dude. I knew it. Like, even like if we took like the game 6, like I knew we were going to win the game 7. Then let's go, man. Shout out to Green Wall, bro. Thank you so much, guys.
Now, Legend, lastly, do you want to say anything to your fans across the way over there in France? You want to speak in
French?
Yeah, we want to speak in French for them?
Yeah. Merci à tout le monde qui me regarde, les Français, tout ça. Merci beaucoup, les gars.
There you go. Let me move on down. Can we get some H4Fs in the chat? Come on now, Formal. You've been on a road paved silver for a while, but now it's shining gold yet again. This one meant a lot to you. How do you feel in this moment for everything y'all had to overcome? I know this was a unique tournament for you.
Yeah, man, it was getting pretty dark the past like year, so this was like much needed just for like my mental, and like I'm just so proud of the way that the team like bounced back, like the reverse sweep against Nemesis, like playing today, like even going down in that series, like geez, I'm really proud of the team, man.
Definitely are, man. It was a feat that we have not seen in a while, and you are a champion yet again, Formal. Let's talk to the young superstar, Bound, because Bound, that's a 4P for you as well. You made a lot of changes in the offseason. Even after being a world champion, you said, you know what, there's still a higher ceiling in which I can hit. There are still more things in which I want to accomplish. And damn, you did that today. How you feel in a moment?
I mean, happy Easter. I don't know, God's Rose feels amazing. Just fucking feels amazing.
Happy Easter, everybody. It's a beautiful day.
especially one for the Green Wall. You want to give any shout-outs out there to the people supporting you, the family, anybody?
I mean, yeah, shout out my family, shout out all the fans who come out. I'm not usually used to you guys staying after the win, so it's pretty cool to see all the fans and seeing them stay, so sick.
There you go. Let me move on down the line real quick. All right, Coach Lunchbox. Jason, you've been in a few of these big-time matches, a lot in your career, but talk to me about everything that this team had to go through to overcome all the haters, to overcome all the doubt, and to become the champions that the Green Wall know that you guys are.
Yeah, I mean, they formed this team for this exact moment, a Game 7 in the Grand Finals reset, and these boys are clutch. That's all there is to say.
That's all there is to say. They are clutch. Are they clutch, Texas? They are, okay? Lastly, Lunchbox, okay, what do you want to say to these fans that got their phones up, that's out there recording this one, that's watching history here with you guys? How do you want to thank them?
Yeah, first of all, a huge shout out to Esports Engine 343 to keep this event going. There was crazy circumstances Friday. And a big shout out to the Green Wall. You guys were loud, pushing us through. We appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go, Texas. One more time, let's blow the roof off the Esports Stadium. Make some noise for your Major 1 champions, OpTic Gaming.